July 6th, 2026. America just celebrated its 250th birthday. The United States will defeat Belgium tonight. And today is the day I think I become a true best ball bro. My name's Peter Overzet. This is Best Ball Breakfast. 4 drafts on tap today. Solo Best Ball Mania draft with Adam Levitan. Versus him, against him, I don't know. We'll find out. At noon Eastern, Sam Sherman back in the saddle after his 1-week hiatus. And of course, batting cleanup. As always, my friend, my colleague, my fellowship chaser, Pat Kerrane. I'm Pete Overzet, tapping in for the next 4 hours. Let's do it. Welcome to Hot Best Ball Summer. You slurp that suspension dipperino, honey?
Easy to click on Rashad White when it's all site credits.
Exodia.
Put the puppy in the bag, bro. Try to grow the goddamn game.
The game is beatable, folks.
Slap King Summer, bitches.
7,000 hours of commercial-free best ball drafts starts now. All right, how are we doing? What is up, everybody? Kevin Wood says the thumbnail is too high res. Okay, now I've heard it all. It's too high res. GM, what's up? E Stockle, Go AZ Cards, Greg, what up? What up? What up? Wheel Route, Gunner, Levin, Overzet. We're back. We've been talking behind the scenes, seeing if we can work it out. You know, there's a lot of behind the scenes animosity right now between me and Levitan. What is up, Moonshine? Greg, breakfast coffee combo of the week, vegan huevos rancheros and an iced caramel macchiato. That sounds nice. That sounds real nice. How are we doing? B-Surf, Bats, go USA, USA, USA. What is up? Index of Suspicion. Hope everybody had a nice 4th of July weekend. I certainly had a good time. And here's why I will tell you guys that I officially became a best ball bro this morning. I can't believe this is a true announcement. This morning, I entered my first batch of slow drafts. I spent a little time this morning doing some math. What do I need to do to max the eliminator, to max weekly winners, to get into some of these contests? I've held off until this very moment. In this morning, I broke the seal. I am proud to announce that I've officially not only become a best ball bro for 2026, but I have entered slow draft hell with you guys. I'm ready to join you guys in the ranks, in the trenches. And so it begins. I got the calendar notification set up. I got everything worked out. I have the plan. It's ready to unfold. I'm ready to start drafting in mass. I'm ready. I'm ready, folks. And I think to ultimately get ready here, we're going to need a coffee pour. We're going to need a coffee pour here. Also, I'm deep in negotiations right now. I'm not even kidding. I'm talking with the guys at Vassalleros and Sons Coffee. We have not worked out a deal yet, but we are in negotiations, seeing if they can become the official coffee sponsor of Best Ball Breakfast. They sent me some 1-pound bags of coffee. They sent me this nice mug. And so we'll see if we can get it done. I would love to lock up my first official coffee sponsor here for Best Ball Breakfast. We'll, of course, have the portfolio review in the mornings once the season starts. Let's get a nice sip of that Vassalleros and Sons coffee. Al Boogie, be ready for sleepless nights thinking you're on the clock. No. I'm not one of these fly by the seat of my pants slow draft bros. I have calendar notifications set up within every single window to make sure I do not miss any picks. I know the exact windows that I need to make the picks in to make sure I stay on schedule. I am going to grab the slow draft bull by the horns, and it might try to buck me off, but I am going to hold on for dear life, and I've created the systems and the practices to make sure I can accomplish this without it overtaking my life. Don't you worry. Don't you worry here. What's good? Cam Joey says, my favorite redraft streamer. You know, it's a busy time of year. I'm having to juggle both redraft issues and best ball issues here. So I'm doing good here. What did you guys do for the 4th of July? Everybody keep their fingers intact. No JPPs, no Najee Harris's. How are we doing here? Fantasy Pill thinks I'm going to miss my first pick tomorrow. Come on, have some faith. Have some faith. If there's one thing I can do, guys, it is meticulously craft my schedule and notifications. That's the one thing I can do. Please don't doubt me in that arena. You can doubt my selections when I'm on the clock. You can doubt my ability to land the plane. You can doubt my ability to win a best ball contest, but do not doubt my ability to meticulously craft my schedule and my calendar. All right, we're going to draft, though. That is what we are going to do. We are in a Best Ball Mania draft. Let's get this rolling here, folks. We got the 1-5 today. We got the 1-5. We can dig with that. I got to check out my recent exposures here. Let's get a little exposure sync here with the solver. Make sure we are ready to rock over there. See here, you want to see the proof? Here it is on the clock. Eliminator, Pitbull, weekly winners, Eliminator, boom, boom, boom. We are there. We are there. All right, let me see here. This is my draft. What Best Ball Mania draft is this for me? Number 68. Does this mean Levitan is going to be draft 69? That is incredible. That is incredible. All right. Let me get this synced, and then we'll get back in the draft room here. All right. Sync those exposures. We are one pick away here. So my exposures in this range, 10.5% JSN, 11.8% Christian McCaffrey, 10.5% JT. I'm light Jefferson at 6.6, light Amon-Ra at 3.9. But otherwise, a pretty healthy 8 to 10% on most of these guys. It just basically coming at the expense of Jefferson and Amon-Ra. But we will continue to draft round one, mostly by the book here. We're going to grab JSN with our first pick. And I believe we said this is my 68th Best Ball Mania draft here. Update the ticker accordingly. Best Ball Mania draft number 68. Who do we have in here? Do we have any friends? Do we have any family? JGFC, what is up, JGFC? We got BK in here. I think those are the only names I recognize. I am officially in like 34 slow drafts. I have a plan. I am going to enter 15 slow drafts every Monday and Thursday. Index of Suspicion went tubing down a lazy river and saw a bald eagle. That sounds like an epic 4th of July. What's up, Garage? How we doing? Greg, Cape Cod beaches this weekend. Yeah, we did a mix of Cape Cod, and then we went and visited our friends over on the vineyard there. So it was a little mix of both Cape Cod in the vineyard. Mostly avoided traffic last night. But it feels good to be back home. It feels good to be back home. What's up, Ryan? We will bolt up today. I did see some of the Ayuk stuff. It is really hard to tell at this point what is a bit and what is real. If you missed it, apparently him and Jaden Daniels had a falling out. Jaden Daniels, one of them unfollowed one of them on Instagram or something. Who knows? Who knows? Josh says would be very funny if Levitan has a check slow drafts on his desk calendar. That would be very good. All right, what do we got cooking here in round two? A bunch of wide receiver selections. Also check my exposures here with JSN because I've been drafting him a good bit. I have JSN paired with London, Pickens, and Nico, all at the exact same clip. I was hoping to get A.J. Brown because he's the one wide receiver in this range I have not paired. I haven't done Brock Bowers with him. I'm ultimately not too concerned here at this rate. I am light on Pickens, though. I'm at 5.3%, so I'm going to go Drake London at the last minute. Man, I was waffling there. I'm going to go JSN and Drake London. Feels like the better combo. It's like what? I mean, Drake London does it year after year. George Pickens, I think, can certainly pay off this draft cost, but we're going to need him to have a pretty big touchdown fueled season again, I think, for him to pay off this elevated cost. We kind of have a long history of a lot of these wide receiver twos on their own teams, having a season above expectation in the touchdown department. Then they vault up to round 2. We've done it with Waddle. We've done it with Devontae Smith. We've done it with T. Higgins. And then TD regression comes for them, and then they settle back down. Like T. Higgins is going at the 3-4 turn. So I thought about being a little bit of a portfolio bro there, a combinatorial bro there, and chickened out at the last second. I'm going to go JSN and Drake London here to start. What's up, Hunter? Has been a member for 36 months. Thank you, sir. As always, your memberships get you access to the Best Ball Bash. That'll be back on Thursday this week at noon Eastern. And then if you're a Best Ball Value Hound, you will get access to the After Dark shows. Had a very fun show with Best Ball Guy on Thursday night. We went long. It was like an hour and 45-minute show. Had a lot of fun catching up with Best Ball Guy as part of the culmination of BBG Week. Make sure you guys check that out if you are YouTube members. All right, let's see what we have coming back around here at 3-5. We've done JSN and Drake London. Does not look like any of the players I have traditionally paired these two with are available. JJFC takes Zay Flowers at 26. Man, that Zay price is starting to get pretty expensive here. We can set up a little bit of a 0 RB build, or we could go in another direction here. We can do Olave, we could do Breece Hall, we could do ETN. I'm still pretty content to be on the Breece Hall train. I know the ETR ranks are a little bit lower on him. I'm kind of spooked on Travis Etienne in this range. The Alvin Kamara stuff looking more and more likely by the day, I think kind of complicates his price. And I think it probably should float back toward the end of round 3, closer to where the Kerrane ADP is. Breece Hall still kind of strikes me as the best risk reward pick in this range. I am going to get some of the updated ETR ranks in the hopper here. I know Levitan likes having those when we draft, and I got to make sure everything is all set by the time Levitan comes by. We know that, things can get a little testy. He can be a little ornery. So let's make sure we get everything ready before our guest joins us. But we start Breece Hall, JSN, and Drake London here this morning. Let's go back and update our ranks here. See if there's been any interesting movement over the long weekend. All right. This is the issue with slow draft hell, is when you try to do a stream draft and I'm like, where is this thing? Obviously you just look for the one that doesn't have the stopwatch icon on it, but still I would love Underdog Devs if we could just put fast drafts up at the top. And look, I know you guys are all seasoned slow draft bros. Your eyes can immediately gravitate to the active fast draft. But for me, someone who has just dipped their toes in the slow draft waters for 2026, it would be nice to have those segmented out. Trevor has the contrarian opinion. Since when is a wide receiver being absolutely insane a bad thing? He's skyrocketing up my big board with every post. Here's how I'd clarify it, Trevor. You want them to be a little bit insane. You don't want them to be absolutely insane. Absolutely insane is the Antonio Brown level crash out. You want the insane that's like, the enemy, speaks kindly but holds a knife. That's the kind of insanity we're looking for here. So we have Breece Hall, JSN, Drake London. This draft is moving along at a good clip here. Another kind of IKB on the ETR ranks. They have Scatabo pretty low, I guess at 48. He's right here at ADP. I've been pretty open to grabbing Scatabo in this range, trying to catch up on my exposure. I think I was only at like 4% there. So getting him right at ADP, all the news on his health sounds pretty positive. I don't really have any reason to be concerned with Scatabo there. So I'll grab him as my second running back. And now we kind of have a good base here. JSN and Drake London up top. We come back with Breece Hall and Scatabo. Are you guys drafting Scatabo? I've heard Nez talk about it. Nez says once he saw the backflip, once he saw the Scatabo backflip, he was back in. Man, I did not get to toss a Frisbee on the Cape. This is what happened. I'm hanging out with a 3.5-year-old and not Denny Carter. So there was no Frisbee being thrown, unfortunately. Justin, I agree with you. George Pickens over Drake London would have been terrible. And that's why I had to talk it through with myself and make the right decision. I'm glad we're on the same page there. Oh, man, I was hoping Davante Adams would come back. Let's see here. This is kind of a ripe spot here. Montgomery, Swift, Judkins. With JSN, I've done a lot of Montgomery, a lot of Swift, but I'm going to keep loading up on Montgomery. I wrote about him in the Fantasy Life newsletter again the other day. He falls to pick 53 here. I feel really, really good about Montgomery this year. I mean, the stuff from the beat reports, I think it was a report in the Houston Chronicle. I mean, it's mostly fluff for sure, but just talking about how the team brought him in because they wanted more efficiency at the goal line. I think we all agree with that, that he is going to be the undisputed goal line back for the Texans. And also that he's become already a huge presence in the locker room. It just sets up very well, I think, for a lead back season for David Montgomery in an offense that's going to have a lot of goal line opportunities. This is an offense too, as a CJ Stroud lover, as a Tank Dell lover over the years, this team has been frustratingly committed to the run. Like, we're wanting them to air it out more with CJ Stroud, and they just want to run the ball. Last year, they didn't have the horses to do that. Mixon went AWOL. Woody Marks was atrocious. I think David Montgomery can be much more efficient in the run game there, and I think they're going to lean on him a ton. So I'm going to keep gobbling him up here in round 5. And this build is interesting because I felt like I was at a fork in the road there with the Breece Hall pick of, do I want to go down more of a 0 RB path? These kind of builds where you get 2 high-end wide receivers, JSN and Drake London, and then you still make sure that you don't get buried in a running back avalanche, or that you're not putting together a room that's just not going to score enough points early in the season to make the team or put the team in a position where it can advance. I like this build. JSN, London, Breece Hall, Scatabo, David Montgomery. And interesting in this room to see the running back slip a little bit. I've been in a lot of rooms where, Tootin and Swift are off the board before you pick at pick 53 there. You know who's else is falling here? Wow. Jadarian Price. Jadarian Price falls all the way back to 6'8". We also have JSN. So this is a team where we are betting on the Seahawks. I'm going to go ahead and pull the trigger. Is this what your guys' rooms look like these days? I feel like I haven't seen a room like this in a while. That's been a little bit more wide receiver thirsty than it has running backs. So now we've gone 4 straight running backs after JSN and London up top. Breece Hall, Scatabo, David Montgomery, Jadarian Price at pick 68. I believe ETR had him 55 in their ranks. His ADP is 62 and he falls to 68. I think that's the price for me. I know, real shame a Jag got 69th. Hope he brings his A game. I mean, Levitan better be ready to rip it for the 69th Best Ball Mania draft. By the way, Emo reminds me, so you think you can tout, the next episode is dropping at 2 p.m. Eastern. It's getting loaded in the hopper as we speak. I know it's been a while since we've seen some of the challenges, but a lot of stuff happens in this episode. Emo Cowboy is the star of this episode. Tune in, 2 p.m. Eastern. So excited for you guys to see it. We are nearing the end of the road for the show. And I know I say this every week. I know I say it every week. This is the best episode yet. They keep getting better and better. We have so many different balls in the air, plates spinning. Can't wait for you guys to see this next episode of So You Think You Can Tout. All right, we are going to pick at 7-5. We are on the clock. We got the 4 running backs, 2 wide receivers. This is definitely a spot where we could do the Jalen Hurts thing, or we could grab a wide receiver. I think Metcalf is probably the best bet. This is kind of a funny spot too, looking at ADP, where some of these wide receivers up here, Mekhi Lemon, Quentin Johnston, Alec Pierce, these are not my favorite picks. You can see Mekhi Lemon, 2.6%, QJ, 3.9%, Pierce, 5.3%. I I think there are some spots here where if I can get Hurts and Lemon together, maybe you pull that move at the 6-7 turn. But I think getting that third wide receiver here makes sense. I don't know. I'm torn. Maybe Hurts is just the better pick there, because is Metcalf significantly better than this next tier? Can I get a lot of what I want from Metcalf from a guy like Chris Godwin, who I like a lot, from a Josh Downs who's on the rise? That would be the concern there. Then you take Jalen Hurts and you alleviate some of that pressure. I could go either way. I do have lots of quarterback outs on this team. Breece Hall, Geno, Scatterbo, Jackson Dart, Montgomery, Stroud, Price and JSN, Darnold. Not going to mess with the Atlanta situation. Rodgers with Metcalf. So I think I could have gone either way there as far as wide receiver or Hurts. People still arguing about Ayuk. I do think, like, if you had a macro thesis with these players and with suspensions and stuff, I do think if I could sum it up, it would almost be like inertia is king. Like, what is currently happening is most likely what is going to continue to happen. And so, like, the same thing for Josh Jacobs, right? Like, the most likely thing is nothing happens to Josh Jacobs. There hasn't been a suspension. There's not a commissioner's exempt list. The most likely thing is Josh Jacobs just fucking plays football, right? Brandon Ayuk has not been playing football. There is an element of inertia. You know, the things in motion stay in motion here. I kind of want to just ride these waves. So I am inclined to agree with you guys, like, or at least those of you who are out on Ayuk, of just like, it does not seem like things are going to turn around for him at this point. All right. I like how this path has become clear for me here at this next pick. So it's Pierce, Addison, and Downs. We have Pierce as a big faller now. Man, what do I want to do here? Do I want to go Downs or Pierce? I think I'm going to put my money where my mouth is. Downs over Pierce right now. It seems like we might continue to get cheaper Pierce at this point. I do think the down stuff just continues to be so bullish. They continue to hammer it over and over again about Downs in an expanded role. You know, I've talked about it in conjunction or in comparison with Jaden Reed, right? Where it's been the opposite. The Jaden Reed stuff has felt a little bearish. It's going to be Matthew Golden in 2 wide receiver sets. Downs here, getting an elevated role with Pittman gone. I do want to get as many down shares as I can, because it seems like we're just going to flip ADPs here down the stretch. You know, Pierce is kind of falling back into this late 90s range. Downs moves up, you know, into this 80s range. I feel like we're headed there. That's where I feel like we're headed. Weekly winners content coming. We talked about it on Off and On the Clock. We've been basically kind of cycling through some different contests. I need to see what we're going to do for tomorrow's show, but yeah, we'll definitely have some more weekly winners here. All right. This is a spot where we could grab our first tight end. We could make sure we don't get shut out at quarterback. I think we are just going to play Laporta here. We could also grab Monangai as the faller. We grabbed Laporta. I'm going to give myself another out at tight end. There are the builds where Monangai feel like can really shore up a running back room, but on a Breece Hall, Scatterbo, Montgomery, Price team, this is a weird room though, man. There have been pretty much interesting running back picks to me at almost every selection. Even when I took Downs, I was like, man, Corum at 93 doesn't look bad. Dobbins and Monangai were on the board here at 101. Go AZ Cards, favorite build type for an eliminator so far? Well, to be clear, I just entered my slow draft blitz for the eliminator, so I don't have any strong structural takes right now, but just the tried and true stuff. I like getting the running back base up top. I love getting the rainbow flops with the bye weeks. I love not being too concentrated on a single team through 7 or 8 rounds, but I will keep you posted if I have any other new takes forming once I'm actually on the clock in all of these. All right, let's do a little recap of this team before the 10th round. I mean, the biggest issue right now is how I play the quarterback position. We started with the 4 running backs up top, or we started with the 2 wide receivers up top. Why can't I talk? Up top. JSN and Drake London. Then we went 4 running backs: Breece Hall, Scatterbo, David Montgomery, Jadarian Price. Came back and grabbed Metcalf and Downs. Then grabbed Laporta here at pick 101. And I think I'm going to be able to get Kyler here. I doubt this drafter is going to take a 3rd quarterback after taking May and Hurts. So Kyler at pick 116 here. We do get the week 17 correlation opposite Breece Hall. There are some backstack options here as well. And I think it makes sense for us to lock up our first quarterback there. No direct team level correlation yet, but I'm not too worried about that. Kyler 116 feels pretty good to me. Christopher says Monty and Price feel dead zone-y. I mean, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, these are, I wouldn't say like David Montgomery is the dictionary definition of how we used to describe a dead zone running back, you know, an older veteran running back who we are essentially drafting for projectable volume. Like that is what a dead zone running back is. Jadarian Price isn't the typical definition of that. Normally the dead zone stuff, because you're not drafting Jadarian Price for projectable volume. It's like the opposite. I am scared about the projectable volume for Jadarian Price. I'm scared that Holani is going to eat his lunch at the beginning of the season. I'm scared that Sharbs is going to steal his lunch money at the end of the season. It is a talent-based bet. It is a draft capital bet. It's a bet on the offense. It's not a bet on projectable volume, though, when it comes to Price. One play I might do here is grab. So we have some tight ends kicking around. I have a play I want to make here. We'll see if Tiefer allows me to make it. What I would like to do here is add Jordan Mason. So this will probably be my last running back. Jordan Mason is right at the top of the ADP. I'm only at 3.9%. There was some recent reporting that Jordan Mason is the preferred lead back for the Vikings, that they want Aaron Jones more in that complementary role, that pass catching role. I'm still inclined to believe Aaron Jones is who you want if you have to pick between the two. But in this spot where Aaron Jones is already off the board, Jordan Mason is top ADP value, and I have Kyler Murray and am trying to build out a bet on the Vikings here, I think this is the spot for me to grab some Jordan Mason. So we now have 1 quarterback, Kyler. We have 5 running backs, the 4 up top in Jordan Mason. We have 4 wide receivers and 1 tight end. Min Cash Merchant, is handcuffing QB crazy? I've been taking both 2 and Penix on teams like this so early. I don't mind burning a roster spot to lock up a QB1. Would have went well with the Colts last year. It's not my favorite thing, but I think if you got in spots, right, you have these spots in a draft where you have a quote unquote luxury selection. How many are you doing those 2 handcuffs? Are you doing a 4 quarterback build or a 3 quarterback build? Because that's the other question. I think if you treated it like you did a 4 tight end punt build where you take 4 tight ends with your last 4 picks, if you took 4 quarterbacks late where it's like, I don't know, you have Geno, Mendoza, and both Atlanta quarterbacks, and the amount of draft capital spent is really cheap, I guess I don't hate it. Yeah, the Mason report sounded like special speculation, for sure. For sure. It was just a good reminder for me not to over-index on Aaron Jones, who I have more of than Jordan Mason. All right. Okay, good. I was like, I really need to get Darnold here. Darnold is very important for this team. We have Kyler at quarterback. We have Jadarian Price and JSN. We're only at 4 wide receivers here, but they're 4 wide receivers before pick 92. I think I'm good with that. JSN, Drake London, DK Metcalf, Josh Downs. We now have Darnold with Price and JSN. We have Kyler with Jordan Mason. I think this team is coming together. It's never hard to build out the rest of a wide receiver room. It can get tricky to build out a running back room. There's a ton of tight ends still on the board. With Hockenson and Barner, I have stackable options. The third quarterback probably is going to be Rodgers, but we also can do the Geno thing with Breece. I think I like this. At 149 here, this feels like it's either going to be Jawan Jennings or Omar Cooper for me. Jawan Jennings is stacked with Kyler. Omar Cooper would give me another jet. He goes Omar Cooper, so that's an easy decision for me. I think this is Jawan Jennings pretty easily. Checks every box we need in this draft. A 5th wide receiver stacked up with our quarterback. JSN, Drake London, DK Metcalf, Josh Downs, Jawan Jennings. And I think I need some more coffee here for the home stretch of this draft. Why does Jordan Mason feel like surrender? I think it's just there's two ways to view a backfield like this. Historically, an ambiguous backfield where both of the main options or the entire backfield is going after pick 110, that would be like a screaming green light for drafters. Target this backfield, target this backfield. This is an offensive system with an offensive coordinator and coach that we're excited about the running back points and the overall output of the offense, like year over year. We are excited about what Kyler Murray can do within this offense. If you just zoomed out and we separated our biases with these players and the eye test of how Jordan Mason looked, this would be a jam of all jams backfield. It would be how we talked about, the Miami Dolphins backfield a few years ago when Achane was drafted, or how we talked about the Chase Brown versus Zach Moss backfield, or even those Chicago Bears backfields that had, Deontay Foreman and the whole mixture of ambiguity. Like from that perspective, we want to be targeting this backfield. But why does it feel like a surrender? Because Jordan Mason looked really dusty last time we saw him. It was a split backfield where neither of them were fully consolidating touches. The offense was petering out. I also think there's the recency bias of the JJ McCarthy, Max Brosmer version of this offense wasn't in the red zone a ton. They didn't have goal line opportunities. The things we like about Jordan Mason punching in goal line TDs, we saw him do that in San Francisco. We didn't get to see him do it that much with the Vikings. But if we are playing for an offensive upgrade here and more of those opportunities, shouldn't we be excited about Jordan Mason and Aaron Jones in this offense? All right. How do we want to play this? I don't think there's anything in the running back wide receiver range here. To me, this feels like I get one of my tight ends. I think we go Hockenson. We do have the double bye with Hockenson and Laporta. AJ Barner's ADP is still a little bit later. We could grab both of them, but let's just go with the guy with the higher ADP, give ourselves a chance to get both of them, and we'll go Hawk here. So we have 2 quarterbacks, Kyler and Darnold, 5 running backs, Breece, Scatabo, Montgomery, Price, Mason. Wide receivers, JSN, Drake London, DK Metcalf, Josh Downs, and Jawan Jennings. Tight end, Sam Laporta and TJ Hockenson. And I believe I threatened a coffee pour and then never did it. Let's try it again. I like this take from Mincash here. He says, I think the worst thing that can happen is when you miss on player takes that would have unlocked a macro strategy take you have. Can't have a ton of 0 RB builds without Mason. Last year was Davante. I think that's a really good point. Let the structure be what supercharges the team. Don't get hyper specific or overly specific with how you want to execute that strategy. And it takes some humility for sure. There are fun clicks and there are not fun clicks. And I think we've all learned over the years with best ball that every player has an appropriate price or a value, can contribute to a team. Best ball scoring just works differently than redraft. And we have to be more open to these guys that we consider dust balls, I think is basically the way to go about it. All right, BK took Barner, but that's fine. We can find a third tight end. I do want to grab Rodgers here. I think this is the Rodgers pick. We're going to get that third quarterback. We have DK Metcalf. We also have outs to Freiermuth or Mount Washington later. Let's grab Aaron Rodgers here. So we have a Kyler, Sam Darnold, Aaron Rodgers room. And we have 3 more picks to go. Remember Deneric Prince. Boy, do I ever. Boy, do I ever. But I think one of the things that really helps kind of, I don't know, disabuse yourself of some of those micro player takes is the correlation element of best ball, right? Where I don't want to click Aaron Jones or Jordan Mason in a vacuum. But when I get Kyler Murray past ADP and he's my first Viking, well, it's like, all right, everything I think about those guys like almost stops mattering. Aaron Jones comes off the board. I need this offense to fucking cook. I need Kyler to take this offense back to, top 5, top 10 levels. If that is happening, they're going to be moving the ball. They're also going to have success on the ground. There's going to be goal line opportunities. It's just an if-then statement. And once you take Kyler Murray, my entire perspective on how I feel about one of the potential lead backs in this offense completely changes. All right. We have 3 more picks left. We have a 3-5-5-2. We're going to be grabbing a third tight end. We don't want to eat the double bye week at tight end. And we're probably just taking 2 more wide receivers because we are done at quarterback, Kyler, Sam, and Rodgers. We're probably done at running back, Breece Hall, Scatabo, Montgomery, Jadarian Price, and Jordan Mason. And I've never so badly wanted to select Jeremy Bernard. I want a rookie. I want another pass catcher for Aaron Rodgers. Thank you. Thank you. Jeremy Bernard. I click Jeremy in a lot of different situations, but this is the Jeremy spot right here. This is the spot. This is clean. It's almost eerily clean. We've just been correlating down the backstretch. Almost every pick has been a correlated element. Jeremy with Aaron Rodgers, Hockenson and Jennings with Kyler, Sam Darnold with Price and JSN, Mason, of course, with Kyler. It's been straight correlating since round 10. No, Easy, you are the first person to ask me. That was completely unplanned. I wish I could take credit for that, but that would have taken a lot of engineering. I would have had to really think that through. No, that is just one of the serendipitous moments. Two more picks. Going to be a tight end and a wide receiver. The tight ends are getting wiped. Is this probably going to be a Mount Washington team? Probably a Mount Washington team. Jeremy and clean. There is something there. I'm going to need more coffee for me to untangle it, but there is something there. This might just be a Cooper Kupp-ass team. I might just push the plane. Do I just put Cooper Kupp and Darnell Washington push the plane? Is there a better wide receiver pick for me than Cooper Kupp? What's the ADP difference on Kupp and Darnell? 204, 214. All right. Let's do it. Let's do it. Cooper Kupp. It's all correlating down the backstretch. Not a single pick after Laporta that isn't correlated. This is why we play. This is why we play the game, folks, to be able to draft a team like this. You guys are, I'm just trying to land the plane, or as some people say, not drop the baby. And you guys are over here telling me to draft Arroyo, to live a little and draft Torrey Horton. Torrey Horton is a very fun zero. Don't get me wrong. Do not get me wrong. Can we also check out what JGFC is doing here? I missed this earlier. JGFC starts Jamar Chase, Rashee Rice, Zay Flowers, and Colson Loveland. Looks great. And then this man goes Lamar Jackson at 50, Caleb Williams at 71, and Joe Burrow at 74. JGFC is a wild man. Jatavian Sanders, bring back. I think I just got to let Jatavian Sanders go, man. I tried to make Jatavian Sanders a thing. I wanted him to be a thing so bad. I just don't think it's happening. Colton, when am I getting Field Yates on a stream? I could get Field Yates on a stream. We've done randomizers together. I'm sure Field would swing by. What do you want to see Field do? You want to see Field draft a best ball team? You want to see him do a randomizer? You want to see him do an after dark? In what context would you like to see Field Yates on this channel? All right. Did someone take Darnell? God. Come on, Ken. Come on, bro. I can't do a third week 6 bye. What just happened here? Am I going to do like, do I do the sidekick thing? Do I do the Charlie Kolar? That's the only other tight end I even know down here. What am I supposed to do? I just gave in. This is my first Charlie Kolar share, I think. And I only selected him because he's a meme that I've heard from the sidekick bros over and over again. I like Mike Gesicki the best, but I wasn't going to go 666s on the buys. You guys wanted me to go Arroyo. I mean, Arroyo is just an absolute zero, right? Oh my goodness. Komet. Ugh, man, all of that. I really was having fun drafting that team until Ken, are you in the chat? Ken C. Gill just had to take Darnell Washington from me. Welcome to the Kolar Bear Club. What's Kupp's ceiling? 500 yards and 3 TDs. How is he a good pick? I think this goes back to kind of what I was saying before, even when we were talking about the Jordan Mason and the Aaron Jones stuff, of not realizing how valuable certain just base level production not being a zero is in these later rounds. A lot of it, how I understand it and what I've learned and how I've seen the leg up sims operate and how I've seen, best ball advance rate shake out, is it's not necessarily what they do, it's what they don't do, in that they're not a zero, that they don't fall on their face. Cooper Kupp is going to be out on the field in 2 wide receiver sets. We like this offense, right? This is a team that we think is going to succeed. And Cooper Kupp is a veteran player who is not going to be a zero. So I don't need him to score 10 TDs. I need him to give me, quote unquote, usable weeks. And I've already made the bet on Seattle, right? Like, if I had a Bo Nix, would I have taken Pat Bryant? Yes. If I had Lamar Jackson, would I have taken Rashad Bateman? All of these guys are pretty fragile to the inputs, right? We've done this experiment before. We've talked with the ETR projection team. If they adjust a market share, even a sliver, you would see one of these guys jump from an 18th round pick to a 16th round pick. These guys are all jumbled up together. So again, what are we doing? We're using the correlated element to break those ties. We have already said on this team, Sam Darnold cooks. Cooper Kupp then stands out from these other picks. If I had CJ Stroud, I would have considered Jalen Knoll. So I think it's fine to nitpick these plays in a vacuum. I don't love Cooper Kupp. I don't love Jordan Mason. Do I think they make the most sense on this team? I do. All right, let's see the final pick here, or the final roster. When are you and Levitan running the big dog back? When he's ready to pony up. I footed the bill the first time. I think Levitan and I have to mend our relationship before we get back to big dog levels. We're still we're in the sandbox of the lottos, as he calls them. Once we build that trust back up, I think we might be able to, schedule a big dog. All right. Let's get this team reviewed. This was a Minnesota and Seattle team. Kyler Murray, Sam Darnold, and Aaron Rodgers are my 3 quarterbacks. 5 running backs: Breece Hall, Cam Scatterbo, David Montgomery, Jadarian Price, Jordan Mason. 7 wide receivers: JSN, Drake London, DK Metcalf, Josh Downs, Jawan Jennings, Jeremy Bernard, Cooper Kupp. 3 tight ends: Sam Laporta, TJ Hockenson, and Charlie Kolar. I do like this team. I mean, these are structurally just my pure preferences. I'm not saying this is optimal or, it's not GTO or whatever, but my favorite things, I love having the 3 quarterbacks stacked up. Kyler, Mason, Hockenson, and Jennings. That feels good. Actually, let me get the solver report up here for this one, because I bet this one will be fun to look at in the solver report. All right. Let's see here. All right. Draft capital by team here. We have ADP value 9.3, draft capital value 13.3. We have the 3 main team stacks: Minnesota, Seattle, Pittsburgh, the 3-5-7-3 build. Our week 17 correlation, we did get the Jets as a bring back there, Breece Hall. That's the only other week 17 correlation we had. We didn't get any other correlation there opposite Seattle in week 17 or Pittsburgh in week 17 with Tennessee there, but we can survive that. Really, the only picks that we reached on were Darnold and Rodgers, slightly ahead of ADP. Had to lock up those stacks. Otherwise, got some really nice ADP values that stacked up and compounded there with the running back room and the early wide receiver picks. I feel like we just kind of let this draft come to us here. What do we think? I'm still catching up on the chat. You guys wanted me to draft Oscar Delp? Wow, we got a bullish projection for Torrey Horton in the chat. 8 games, 5 TDs. Nick asks, have I seen the latest video of Tyler Conklin running routes? I cannot say that has come across my desk yet. M. Stockton, did you see the most recent Hockenson route running workout? Can you guys, can someone put together a digest of old dusty players doing workouts? Can someone just have those on my desk every morning at 8 a.m. and then I can just review them at once? We have the coach speak index. We have the beat reporter index. Can someone get me the route running from camp index? Can someone please organize all of this? And then when the chat asks me if I've seen X 38-year-old tight end running routes, I can actually be informed. You're damn right I took Kolar. You tell me, Davis. You tell me on this team. This is the tight end board. You tell me which tight end you'd take here. I want to know. And then I can tell you what a fancy zero you just took. These are the options. This is on a Kyler Murray, Sam Darnold, Aaron Rodgers team. These are the options. Mike Gesicki, who would have been our third week 6 buy. Sam Laporta, DJ Hockenson, and Mike Gesicki. Colby Parkinson, Theo Johnson, Dawson Knox, Jatavian Sanders, Mason Taylor, Oscar Delp, Cole Kmet, Eli Raridan, Elijah Arroyo. The chat wanted Arroyo. At least that would have been with Darnold. Eric All, Noah Gray, Justin Jolly, and finally, some man named Will Kasemerick. So yeah, you tell me who you would have taken, tough guy. Parkinson, Theo, Nate Broricker, This is my first time giving in on Charlie Kolar. I looked at the board. I thought there's no way in hell someone takes Darnell Washington at pick 207. And they did. So I wanted to get in on the Charlie Kolar fun. Like you said, Davis, like you said in the Discord the other day, Charlie Kolar is a complete free roll. If it hits, well, great. It just hit on my team. If it doesn't, we all blame Sacrilegious and Pat and leg up. It's a win-win. It's a total win-win to take Charlie Kolar. Don't get stuck in that position. Draft better. All right, now your turn, J2B. You tell me which pick you would have done differently to make sure that you didn't get stuck holding Charlie Kolar bag at the end. You're right. This is what we need to look at. Who do the Chargers play in week 6? Week 6, NFL schedule, Chargers. Let's see who Charlie Kolar is going to be feasting against here. The Kansas City Chiefs, baby. The Kansas City Chiefs, Charlie Kolar, just absolutely shredding the Chiefs linebackers in this game. It's Mahomes one drive. Then it's the Charlie Kolar drive. Then it's the Xavier Worthy splash play. Boom, Charlie Kolar comes back. Death by 1,000 cuts. See, David says I would have taken Kolar, but I'm scared of best ball Palantir. Exactly. Glad we're on the same page here. A lot of people suggesting non-viable tight ends in the chat right now. I could have just done the 666s. I think if there was a true tier break at the tight end spot there, it would have made sense. But it's like, is Gesicki that much different? I guess Gesicki's a little bit better. There's still a contingent element with the Gesicki stuff where it's like, if he's really going to pay off, it's probably because of an injury to one of the 3 wide receivers. But I could have done 666s. I guess the thing I could have done differently is I could have just pulled up Barner. I tried to get both Barner and Hockenson, right? They were both available when I picked at 164. Barner has the later ADP, and he almost comes back. But still, I prefer Rodgers there. I think Rodgers was more important to this team than even getting both Hawk and Barner. But I do think the move was you take Barner, you avoid the double week 6 bye week. You basically sacrifice Hockenson, you get Barner, and then you can pick whatever tight end you need in round 18, which would have been Gesicki. That's probably what I would do differently. Charlie Kolar is the most important man of the world. My question for the Charlie Kolar, it's like, because I understand when you guys are drafting on DraftKings and you have the 2 extra rounds, anything goes. Like, I mean, you can justify any player selection because just adding 24 more players that have to be drafted, it sends you into some dark rabbit holes. So I get the Charlie Kolar stuff there. But let me just float this. And this is coming from someone who just drafted. What do you guys call him? The Charlie Polar Bear? The Kolar Bear? Is it a little bit of DraftKings brain on underdog where it has become so normalized for you people to draft the Kolar bear over there that you've talked yourself into doing it over on underdog where 24 less picks are made each draft? I'm just going to float it. Don't shoot the messenger with that take. Could it just be DraftKings brain rot that has led us to this point, that has led us and me to panic selecting the Kolar bear? What a world we live in. We are still talking about Colby Parkinson. I couldn't even close my eyes and take Evan Ingram, CD. You want to know why? Because Evan Ingram went in round 17 of this draft. I didn't even have a chance to consider him. Theo Johnson. I'll just say this. If anyone suggested Theo Johnson, you better not be drafting any Isaiah Likely. What a chat. This is the day I became a best ball bro again. The fact that we're arguing about Charlie Kolar, Elijah Arroyo, Colby Parkinson, Theo Johnson. I mean, Jake Tongus went at 195 in this room. Guys, we are all on the same page. Asher says, give me Darnell Washington breakout season in round 18. Yeah, give it to me too, buddy. That's who I wanted to click. It would have been perfect. I would have had nothing to do for these next 15 minutes after the draft. We would have just kind of sat here and been like, yeah, let's just wait for Levitan. Pete just drafted a great team. No issues, no notes. And instead, this happened. And we have now had to pay so much attention and focus to one single pick. The least important pick on this team has overshadowed what I think was one of the better teams I've drafted on stream this summer. Can we please look at the totality of this roster and not get so caught up in the minutia of my 18th round tight end selection, who might be the tight end 3 on his own team? Thank you, Davis. Thank you. Davis says, I'm ready to welcome you back into the Best Ball Bro fold after this. And Davis, did you see this? I don't know if you saw the top of the show. Look at this, brother. Look at this. Eliminator. Pitbull. Eliminator. On the clock. 11 picks away. Look at all these slow drafts, baby. Okay, see, at least Nick says he has 8% Theo, 0% likely. That's a man who stands for something. No Mason Taylor bring back love for anyone in the chat. No. There's a part of my brain where I'm willing to do a lot of mental gymnastics on the Jets. I'm willing to be like, okay, Breece Hall can hit. Garrett Wilson's going to hit too. Like, yeah, this is his year. Yeah, Geno's going to make everything work. And oh my God, they drafted Omar Cooper. I mean, look at the draft capital. A round 1 wide receiver going at pick 140. Like, I got to hit that. And holy cow, Kenyon Sadiq. This is like the most athletic tight end we've seen enter the league in a long time. Like, of course. And then I go, okay, and A.D. Mitchell. A.D. Mitchell is the star of OTAs. His rapport with Geno Smith is incredible. I am able to do the mental gymnastics to get that far. I have just said 6 New York Jets, 6 of them can hit. I am willing to go that far. Do you know where I draw the line, Kevin? Thinking that Mason Taylor is also coming along for that Jets ride. That's where I have to draw the line, because I can only look in the mirror and lie to myself about 5 Jets hitting, 6 Jets hitting. I cannot get there with Mason Taylor. I don't think it's happening. But do you know what is happening? It's my friend. It's my colleague. It's my adversary. It's one Mr. Adam Levitan back on the program after a tumultuous week last week. How are we doing today, sir?
I'm perfectly calm, dude. I feel great. How are you?
I'm doing good. How was your 4th of July?
Yeah, it was good. I mean, there's like this war at the neighborhood pool to get like to get a cabana like chair type thing. There's only four of them, and so um I got up at like 6:45 on July 4th to reserve a cabana for our crew in the neighborhood. I mean, this is what goes down in the suburbs. I drove my Honda Pilot down there. We reserved the cabana. We had a nice little day.
There you go. There you go. You making any slow draft picks, firing off any best ball drafts on the 4th, like a true American?
Yeah, I did a stream with Herzig on Thursday, and there was someone in chat. It was like Levitan drafted the worst team I've ever seen last night, and I didn't even remember like drafting the team. I guess I had drafted in bed and fallen asleep or something like that. So yeah, I'm in the mix. I'm in the mix almost every day.
People said that you went off on Herzig as well. I don't know if we had talked about this last week. Is this true? You went off on him as well as a best ball streamer?
I didn't go off, but he was doing the exact same thing that you do, which was like we were just like chatting and we had nothing in the queue, and then it comes to us, and we were actually doing an underdog draft. We were doing one of the Dalmatians, and it gets to us, and there's 20 seconds, and you know, then he's like, clock's counting down. Who do you want to take? It's like, you know, this whole problem could have been avoided with the queue. But I've made my point on this. I think my point has been well taken by the majority of the public, and I'm not going to have any meltdowns today.
Okay, yeah, it seems clear. It seems like you're in a more zen state today. I'm trying to, I was mostly logged off over the weekend. It feels like what I missed was stuff unraveling even further with Brandon Ayuk. What is the official Adam Levitan take on Brandon Ayuk and his fate in the league at this point?
Yeah, I've never thought that he was really a good pick. Like, I think the ability to avoid zeros this time of year is like one of the number one things that I think about. And so I just thought Brandon Ayuk, given the injury situation more than like the attitude situation, had a decent chance of being a zero. Now you add in the attitude situation also. So yeah, I just think easy pass at this time of year.
All right, Levitan, you wanna join a draft? I'm in if you want to get in.
A best ball mania, I assume.
Yeah. You gotta go quick before these guys
I'm
get
in.
you.
I am in.
All right. Here we go. Yeah, we've been trying to figure it out. Are we going to draft against each other? Are we going to draft with each other? I did get the overlay all changed just for Adam. And I will say the reviews have come in. People like this overlay, but we are still going to draft against each other today.
Perfect. And I have the Influencer 101. I've gotten 101 and 1-2 an outrageous amount of times. I actually need to check that in the Solver portfolio tool, which is free, by the way, if anybody wants to check it out. But you can see how many times you've gotten first place, first pick, second pick, eighth pick, whatever. I have outsized Gibbs and Bijan right now.
And are you complaining about that? Just trying to check.
I don't know. What do you think? I haven't really like felt where I like drafting best yet. And normally I can like feel it. I haven't felt it yet. I'm sure I will later. But do you have a place you prefer to pick?
No, it is funny you say that because it's like, yeah, everybody agrees Gibbs and Bijan are the best two picks, but I like my teams from the back end of the board in the round 1-2 combinations at that turn better than dealing, especially early round 3 right now is tough, I feel like.
Yeah. I mean, we've lost so many guys, and like I see Rashid Rice going early or late round 2 a lot now, not even early round 3.
Hager says, is your steak too juicy with all those 101s and 102s? Oh, wow. Jamar, today might be the day to have the 103, though. Jamar Chase goes 102 here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think that's crazy on DraftKings. On Underdog, I would definitely take Bijan. On DraftKings, if you wanted to take Chase or Puka at 101 or 102, I wouldn't kill you for it.
Levitan, the other thing I meant to tell you, this is my 69th Best Ball Mania draft of the summer. I did not plan this. It just so happened that you were here, a front row seat for my 69th Best Ball Mania draft. It could have been our draft together, but instead it's just mine.
You're a pervert. I, for one, would never have even put those two, made those two correlated whatsoever. Me and draft number 69.
There you go. So we are off to the races here. Levitan, really sighed as he took Jahmyr Gibbs for the 100th time this summer. I have the 110 here, looking at a couple of these wide receivers, Jefferson, Lamb, Barkley. Jefferson goes, I think, both by ADP and ETR ranks. Lamb is the pick, so we'll go ahead and grab him. Have you guys made, I did get the updated ranks in here today. Was there any other movement, from the projections chat or spots you guys have been discussing recently?
Yeah, let me see. We moved down Ayuk and moved up Diggs a little, just on the idea that if the Commanders aren't going to sign Ayuk, maybe it's Diggs. Go ahead with your pick.
Yeah, I'm going to grab Barkley here.
And then also I don't know if you saw, there was some speculation that Jordan Mason was going to play ahead of Aaron Jones. I always kind of thought that it's like Aaron Jones cannot handle more than being like a satellite passing back at this point. So I think that made some sense. Not that I love Jordan Mason either, but I think both are like roughly go correctly. And then there's also like some guys wanted to dock Eli Stowers even more. We already have Stowers pretty undraftable. Yeah. I kind of stood up for Stowers on like some contingent value. In other words, he can play receiver if it goes bad at receiver for them. But in terms of pure tight end, I agree. I do not think that Stowers is going to be in play.
Yeah, that quote, I saw that quote you're referencing too. It seemed pretty bearish. It was like screaming red shirt year for Stowers there.
Yeah.
All right. You're about to pick from the turn here after your 101. The chase drafter grabs London. You're looking at Nico, Pickens, Rice.
Yes. I think like on DraftKings, I would go wide receiver here. I think on Underdog here, I'm going to mix in Breece.
Mm-hmm.
Here for the structure reasons. So yeah, I mean, I've done so many of these, especially on Underdog. Like the teams that get behind at running back are really tough.
Let me ask you a question on like the new stuff, like fully macro, because I go back and forth on this. This idea of overreacting, underreacting. There's a point where I'm like, what if you're not going to react to news? And the question is how much you should, but if you're not going to react to it, it's like, why even pay attention to any of it? Like just come out of your hole like 2 weeks before or whatever, and start drafting with the projections and all of that. Because people are like, oh, you're over it. And I always use the word like calibrating. Like if Aaron Jones and Jordan Mason are close and like we hear some reports and you're kind of indifferent, like, don't I want to start drafting Jordan Mason like ahead of that? So like, how do you think of that balancing act?
Yeah. So I think like I want there to be news because I think I'm better than the field at interpreting it, right? That's to me where like the actual edge is. So this time of year, when there's not a lot of news, I actually think my edge is less. You know what I mean? Like there's just not a lot of moving parts and changing parts. So yeah, I think that like any report that is people are listening to, I want that to be out there. So yeah, I think you should be. I think you should be reacting to stuff and having takes and stuff like that. That's like where all the edge is to me at this time of year. Later in the year, when there's more people doing crazy stuff, there's more news, there's actual depth chart and injury news. Obviously, that's going to be huge to react to there.
Yeah, and I think it was Sigmund Bloom back in the day who had the phrase "steady drumbeat." And, it's like this Josh Downs drumbeat, like just continues to be steady, like over and over. So that's one I might want to wait a little more seriously. Could it swing back in a week where they're like, Aaron Jones is looking really fresh and, he's spry and all that. And then it's like, okay, do I need to rethink the initial Jordan Mason beat or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
All right, I grabbed T. Higgins just slightly past ADP, and then I get a pretty big fall here for ETN. He falls back to where you guys have him ranked at 38, but it's 8 picks past ADP. How are you thinking about him? I assume this is like a necessary drop for him with the Kamara stuff, but is this still a price you would be in on at here in the early fourth?
Yeah, there's definitely been some ETN FUD out there. Obviously Kamara, like the longer Kamara lasts on the Saints, the worse it is. I still think there's some chance that they find a way to move on. I don't think they really want Kamara there. The underlying stats, like argument on ETN, I don't know that I'd buy that. I think he's going to be like he has the explosibility and can catch the football. I think that's a really good pick for you. I mean, 4.3 is really late. I mean, really late. So especially you needed running back there. Like that strikes me as a really good pick for you.
Yeah, I've been like, when I took him at ADP where, Rice goes middle of the third, it's like, oh man, this doesn't feel good. But to lock in Higgins and then still get him does feel good. So we go Lamb, Barkley, Higgins, ETN. Adams starts Gibbs, Nico, and Breece, and we'll now have a decision at the 4-5 turn there. You mentioned making the Breece pull up for structural reasons. So even with the one running back up top, you feel you might be too far behind here?
Yeah, I mean, I like it gets so barren, and I'm going to take another running back here in Scatterboo, like past ADP. Like these are the teams that I think like work the best, and on a more touchdown heavy site, we do have. I know Jameson Williams goes ahead of Davante Adams. Like we have Davante Adams pretty cleanly ahead of Jameson, especially in this format where it's more touchdown heavy.
Question for you, just because I want to do a 2v2. If you did go back-to-back running backs at the 4-5 turn, would you have gone Swift or Montgomery?
God, I have Nico, so I probably should have been Montgomery. For me in a vacuum, I think Swift probably.
Because then I'm just considering, so like your pull up, because 4-5 turn has now kind of turned into a pretty nice spot to get running backs.
Yeah.
Tootin's there. So I'm just wondering, like, I assume you would have gone Pickens instead of Breece. So like, do you like Pickens, Montgomery, or Breece Adams more?
Yeah, I think Breece Adams.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, you guys are way ahead on Adams by ADP, or at least with your rank. So you're getting him at ADP, and then it's a massive rankings value based on your guys' stuff.
Exactly. And like, I get that people think Davante Adams is slowing down or like only was a goal line receiver last year. His underlying stuff is still pretty good, and they have done such little at wide receiver behind him. Like Davante Adams competing with Terrence Ferguson and Colby Parkinson and Max Clare for targets. Like I get Puka's going to get his, but it's still a really good spot for Davante, assuming that he has reasonable juice left in the tank.
Loop wanted you to expand on the free tool that you mentioned there as far as checking stuff out on the solver.
Yeah, if you go to ETR and you go to the best ball tab, there is a link to the exposure tool. In other words, you can just upload your drafts. There's instructions on how, DraftKings and Underdog. It's free. You just need an account, and you can see all kinds of things about your teams, like crazy data on what you've taken, where you've taken them, what kind of correlation you have, combos, how often you've had the number one pick, et cetera, any pick, money you have on guys, et cetera. Yeah.
We were using the draft report to review my first team this morning, and you can get access to that. And then if you want the full suite of the solver, including all of your ownership, combinatorial ownership, all of that good stuff here, the overlay you see on stream today, use promo code Pete. You'll get 20% off there. There's a few different price points depending on how much volume you're playing, but highly recommend taking advantage of that. Speaking of taking advantage, this is an interesting spot of if I go Jane Daniels, who's been kind of my go-to in this range when it's flat, but because I did ETN at a value, I'm going to go ahead and grab Jordan Tyson here. I did DJ Moore in round 5, another guy that I feel like you were in the similar spot last week where you took DJ Moore maybe past ADP, and it's like, I do think his price is a little rich, but I am a little nervous of a full fade on DJ Moore there.
Yeah, I don't really have a strong take on the DJ Moore situation. Like, yeah, we have him like math wise, we have him below market for sure. But yeah, I mean, you can see like Josh Allen's obviously going to elevate talent. That's like the scary part. If you already think that DJ Moore is a pretty good player, Josh Allen's going to elevate him for sure. So yeah, I think it's a tough, like, full fade, I think.
Yep.
Yeah. And the other thing, I talking about my spot here, like, I probably could have gone more wide receiver heavy here just because, like, where I am at 72, 73, I actually think, like, the Pollard, Ramondre, Jalen Warren stuff is, like, fine. So yeah, I probably could have been a little bit more wide receiver heavy there at the start.
Yeah, and I just did a team where I took JSN in London and then did 4 straight running backs, like, at or past ADP, and I really liked the build there. You're on the clock now at the 6-7 turn.
Yeah. It's not a great spot for me here because these running backs I think are the best picks here. Pollard, Ramondre, Jalen Warren, I think are the best picks here. So I'm just going to go Drake May here at quarterback and unstack Drake May. And then I'm going to go ahead and get into DK Metcalf at wide receiver. Yeah, I didn't really like the way that ran out for me there. Just looking back at the board, it should have probably been wide receiver over Breece or Jameson Williams over Scattaboo, and then I could have gone Ramondre or Pollard or Warren there at 73.
How are you thinking about Metcalf right now? He's another one that I know you guys are ahead of with projections. I know the Fantasy Life projections are ahead on him as well. And then there's all this rhetoric of, like, hey, Pittman's a better fit stylistically for Rodgers. How much of a volume hit is he going to take, etc.?
Yeah, I try not to overthink it, but there's no doubt that Pittman's a better fit than DK Metcalf is for Rodgers, who, like, just doesn't want to take sacks and doesn't want to turn the ball over. So yeah, I just think, like, DK Metcalf is too athletic, especially in best ball, like, has these, like, crazy, like, 80-yard touchdowns that are in his bag. I still think he's a good pick, but yeah, I agree. Mike Pittman's a really good pick also.
All right, so Adam grabs May and Metcalf there as his 1 quarterback, 3 running backs, 3 wide receivers. I'm at 2 running backs here, Barkley and ETN. Was hoping Dak Prescott would potentially come back to me there with Lamb. He goes, so this is probably a running back selection for me here. I do think I prefer Ramondre to Chuba, so I'm going to go ahead and pull the trigger there. You guys have Ramondre just slightly ahead of Chuba as well.
Yeah, I think I mean, getting Ramondre to fall there, I think is pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, I just feel better. I mean, I guess it's like, who do you think has a chance to get, I'm not saying like standalone value or whatever, but who is more at risk to just get completely dusted by the younger guy? Ramondre with Hendo or, say, Brooks with Chuba? I'm talking like tail outcomes, like they just get relegated to a bit roll.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see any way Ramondre gets relegated to a bit roll. They like him too much, and if Brooks is healthy, then yeah. If Brooks is healthy, he's probably a better player than Chuba Hubbard anyways.
Yeah.
But yeah, you get both there. That's a pretty good turn, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, it's like, I pick my preference, but then Chuba at 87, his ADP 74. So we're talking a 13-pick slide there. Ramondre was a 6-pick slide. And I don't know what's in the water this morning, what's in the air, Adam, but my first draft was way more wide receiver heavy. There were running back values along the way. So I don't know. Did we just get a post July 4th sea change in these draft rooms? I don't know.
It's interesting. Man, there's some big time fallers here also.
Mm-hmm. We'll let Adam make these picks here. The chat is wondering if you gaslit me during the big dog just so you could backdoor his way into getting more action down during best ball breakfast.
Yeah, I mean, I like getting drafts in for sure. I'm just going to take the ADP value here on Rico for yet another running back. This has really gotten out of hand. And then, yeah, I'm going to push it at quarterback a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and get Michael Wilson here. Yeah, I'd love to do all the streams on my own account, for sure. Yeah, I mean, it's like Pete's got guys doing his shows for him now through the Tout show, and now he gets to do all his own drafts on here for sure.
Yeah, speaking of getting people to do your own things, how do you not get someone else to go reserve that cabana for you at 5:38? There's got to be someone in the neighborhood you could pay. You got to find like a teenager and be like, yeah, you're going to have to get up early, but just go sleep in this cabana for like the next 3 hours until I'm ready for it.
For sure.
Yeah, Go Easy Cards wants to know if controlling your own queue has brought the fun back into best ball.
I think this is a better format, don't you?
I like it as a change of pace. I think in general, two people talking through picks is better content, but us being on opposite sides of the board, being able to talk through both selections, I think we're making it work. All right. I'm at 9-10 here. I got these 3 running backs, 4 wide receivers. I've yet to take a quarterback here. This is one of those spots where it's like, do I do like the naked Bo Nix just so I don't get fully shut out, or do I grab one of these tight end values here? It feels like the stuff on Fannin right now, there was some concern, with that groin injury earlier in camp, and now it sounds like that's basically a non-issue. I think at 106, Fannin strikes me as a pretty nice bet.
Yeah, I don't think that was ever really that big a concern.
Okay. The question for both of us, I guess you got May, so you alleviated some of the quarterback pressure there. The question is, do I have to become one of those people that pulls up Shough to 111 because he's not coming back? Burrow's gone. Allen's gone. Dak's gone. I'm running out of options. I think with ETN and Tyson, I probably just have to bite the bullet and pull up Shough here.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't love.
It's crazy, like how close some of these guys go to the actual good quarterbacks. Like I like Shough, but it's crazy how close he goes to like Jaden Daniels and Drake May and Jalen Hurts and stuff like that.
For sure. It's like one of those things where every time it feels so gross, and yet when I don't do it, the team just falls apart. And it's like, I can still draft a team I really like here by hemorrhaging, I guess it was 10 picks, 12 picks of ADP value on Shough. I think I can live with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rohan says pushing quarterback feels harder than usual in this landscape. I used to, the example I always think of is like back in the Tua days would be like you take Waddle and Tyreek and you could push Tua like 4 rounds because no one was going to take him. Like you can't pull that shit. Like even if you have Puka and Adams, someone will take Stafford unstacked or with Kyron. Like people don't care.
Oh, for sure. Oh yeah, there goes Stafford.
All right. Levitan back on the clock here.
Yeah, I don't love Romeo Doubs, but I think I do need to take him here. Wide receiver is in need, and obviously I have unstacked Drake May here right now. So definitely Doubs for one of my picks. The question now is, do I want to try to wait for my second quarterback? I could really, really get shut out cold here, or I could go Jaden Higgins and try to get Stroud. I'll go for it.
All right, look at this. He's a gambling man this morning. Are you I assume you're not going out to World Series of Poker this year for the main event?
No, I actually could have. But the time commitment is just so outrageous. I think my future main event schedule these days will be max late reg day 2 and then play it from there. You still get like I think like 40 bigs or something like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, being out there for like 5 days is just before you even get to play twice is like it's a lot for sure.
Yeah, because is there a level where you can play back-to-back days, like if you're the last and then you head to day 2, or does that not exist?
Yeah, there's no back-to-back. If you play day 1D, you would still have an off day before your next day.
Yeah.
Yeah, Crutch is saying you get 60 bigs. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
There you go. All right, I am back on the clock here. I mean, I'm in a similar boat as you of needing to keep an eye out on quarterback stuff here. I was going to take Jordan Mason after all that chatter, him falling down here. I've also been a little bit more open to C-Rod at these prices.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, once C-Rod's practicing at camp, his ADP is going to, and there's going to be a report like C-Rod is like, running ahead of Tootin. Like C-Rod's for sure going to be an ADP value, like for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I take him at 130, which is at ADP. You guys are a little head on ranks. I think I saw you had him at 123. I think the thing I'm going to need to do here, though, is grab a quarterback. Who do I want to take? We do have, what's my Indiana? I have Cleveland. We could do like a week 17 thing there. I've done Darnold. I'm just going to take Daniel Jones here. Actually, change of plans. We're going to take Coker. We're going to see if with Coker and Chuba we can push Bryce, and I'll either be just in a world of pain or I will be happy. Probably in a world of pain.
Probably pain, I would guess.
Yes.
What are you doing for the U.S. game tonight?
Just watching it, man, in my house, maybe with my wife. What about you? It sounds like you have big plans the way you asked that question.
No, I'm excited. I mean, I don't really like soccer. I don't really watch the World Cup much at all, but I love the USA game. So I actually got a coach tonight. We got practice at 5:30 for basketball, and then yeah, I'm gonna take my 11-year-old to the bar to watch the game. So don't report me.
Is that real?
Oh yeah.
If by bar, do you mean the Applebee's bar? Or
That's about all we have. Yes.
Yeah, I can't imagine too many soccer pubs out your way.
God, Stroud went. That was that was a dumb idea because I didn't really even love Jaden Higgins there anyways. So that was probably a dumb idea. I'm just trying to think about my back doors here. Either Bryce or Dimes. We have Dimes so far ahead.
Is Darnold still?
Yeah, Darnold, but he has the same bye week as May, so I couldn't take him.
Yeah.
I do think those are interesting. And then I got to take Hunter Henry here for the May double and address tight end. I do prefer Chig to Henry, I think, though, all things considered. But obviously with Drake May, I'm going to take Hunter Henry there.
Sorry, Levitan, I hate to alert you, but Jay Toopy says these guys have no shot in poker. I'm telling them now, poker is way, way harder. He thinks he spotted a fish here, Adam.
Poker is way, way harder than the Best Ball Mania, or poker is way, way harder than it used to be?
It's a good question. But I think he's underselling your poker background there. Also, man, what did you and I with the Stroud and the Bryce Young, like what just a fumble by me here. Now I'm going to have to take Rodgers as like my unstacked quarterback too, just to survive here. This is brutal. I don't know what I was thinking trying to push the Young thing. That was so dumb.
Yeah. I knew that wasn't going to make it. Did I even get close on Stroud? Stroud went
136.
Yeah, I didn't even really get close.
Yeah, and I was debating. I think my other misstep was like the C-Rod as my running back 5. I should have just taken Malik Willis and gotten us another unstacked quarterback there just to take the pressure off. And then like once Ward goes 132, it's like, okay, all right.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, the other thing, people take Stroud because like you can backstack him. So like even if you don't have any, like, there's Schultz and there's Knoll and there's Tank Dell, you can do the backstack. So trying to push Stroud, probably not the best idea.
Not the best idea here. Let's see. Let's do Brenton Strange. We have C-Rod, could use another tight end. Strange slips a little bit past ADP. I mean, what are your thoughts on Strange? It's like all of the conversation centers around the wide receivers. They invested in the tight end position in the draft. Do you think Strange is a solid click, or are you a little worried?
I just think it's like going to be so flat in Jacksonville. Like, I think Strange is fine, but it's going to be way flatter, I think, than people think. I mean, everybody's like spending so much time trying to parse between these guys. I just think their offense is going to be good, and it's going to be really rotational between a lot of these guys. And like, for redraft, I think it's going to be really hard to like pinpoint who to take.
Yeah, redraft is a mess with those guys.
Strange is okay though. I mean, yeah.
Because at least with the tight ends at these prices, you are just making a bet on the offense and on Trevor Lawrence. I feel like it literally might as well just say Jacksonville tight end to me, Houston tight end. I feel like that's what I'm getting.
Yeah, I mean, and like so many of my teams are quarterback tight end stacks, and like somebody asked me that on a stream the other day, and I just want to like reiterate, like, so much of your tight end score comes from touchdowns, and that correlates so well with the quarterback. So yeah, speaking of tight end, I feel like I'm gonna have to reach here. I really got behind the tight end.
Oh yeah, you got Henry with May, but that's it. You're on the clock in the 14th.
Yeah, this is not great. All right, I'm just gonna pull up Gunnar Helm here. I don't have a choice.
There you go. Gunnar Helm.
And this is a really late Jonah Coleman. I think I'm just going to take that as my last running back there.
Don't say it's because it's so late. It's because you're, I believe, a lifelong Broncos fan.
Yeah. They do not trust RJ Harvey in pass protection. J.K. Dobbins is going to start there, but like they were willing to play guys like Estime and Jaleel McLaughlin last year. Like Jonah Coleman's going to play for sure. Like he's going to have a role. And if J.K. Dobbins gets hurt, and I know everybody assumes that's like a foregone conclusion. Yeah, I think Jonah Coleman's a really interesting pick.
All right, Adams up to a 2.562. Went Gibbs, Nico came back, grabbed Breece Hall, Scatabo, Davante Adams, Drake May, DK Metcalf, Rico Dowdle, Michael Wilson, Romeo Dobbs for the stack. Higgins came back and made sure he didn't fall behind at quarterback with Daniel Jones. Then Hunter Henry stacked up, Gunnar Helm with tight ends flying off the shelves in the Jonah Coleman ADP faller here. I am about to be back on the clock here. Mendoza goes. I think I'm just going to, have myself a Jeremy Bernard day. I'm looking at this exposure here within the solver, 18.4%. Is that too much Jeremy Bernard for one man?
Probably. I mean, there's been reports that Roman Wilson is going to open camp as their number 3 wide receiver, and Bernard's going to have to beat him out. That strikes me as like the typical rookie deference or veteran deference type stuff, but there's still some risk that like Roman Wilson opens the season as their number 3 receiver. So yeah, there's definitely risk there.
Yeah. Shough and Rodgers, my 2 quarterbacks. This might just be a draft where I go wrist up with Shedeur Sanders in my 18th pick here with Fannin. Solver likes Freiermuth. I need that third tight end here. I guess it could go either way, Fan and Strange, but sure. I will do my second Aaron Rodgers double stack of the day. That's the kind of day I'm having, Adam.
Oh my gosh.
Here's my team so far. We recapped Levitan's as we head to the 16th round. I had Lamb, Barkley, Higgins, Etienne, Moore, Tyson, Ramondre Chuba, Harold Fannin. Had to pull up Shough, made a mistake grabbing C-Rod instead of Malik Willis, made a mistake taking Coker instead of another quarterback, then had to reach for Aaron Rodgers, then grabbed Brenton Strange, and then tried to right the Aaron Rodgers wrong by going Jeremy Bernard and Pat Freiermuth. Are we having fun?
There's been some big ADP falls here. I guess like in Best Ball Mania, like you get great like 10, 12 pick ADP falls, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like with the running backs today, they've been falling more than usual. It makes me want to try to commit to some wide receiver heavy builds and see if you can take advantage of that. All right, Levitan on the clock here, 16-17 turn.
Yeah, I mean, I have to take AJ Barner there, another tight end, even though he has the same bye week there. And then I think either Judy or Ridley for me. I'm going to go Ridley here. Just on better rank. Yeah.
I've struggled. So like, it seems universally across like projection systems, ETR, I know leg up, fantasy, like everybody's like ahead on Calvin Ridley. The thing that I worry about is this of him getting squeezed both by Wan'Dale Robinson and Carnell Tate. Like if Wan'Dale does his thing, if Carnell Tate breaks out relatively early, I'm like, what does that leave for Ridley? I know the price is cheap, but it still concerns me.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I'm deciding between Ridley and Judy, and I also don't think that I also don't think that Ridley's like out of the woods. If he doesn't play that well, like Io Minor and DK are there also, so yeah, he's gonna have to come out and play well for sure. Yeah, I think Carnell Tate goes too late for his draft capital, but I also don't want to like get excited about a Titans rookie with Cam Ward. So yeah, the Titans stuff I'm being careful about for sure.
All right. Even though I know I can wait on him, I need to think how I want to land this plane. And I'm going wrist up. Shedeur Sanders is my QB3 here. It's so disgusting, but Shough, Rodgers, Shedeur, I have Fannin. I want to vomit, bro. I can't do Cooper Kupp again. I already had the chat was on me about Cooper Kupp last draft, and it was a Sam Darnold team. So Lord knows I can't take him without it. We've done the Pat Bryant thing. Solver also suggesting a guy I've been warming up to a bit in Rashad Bateman as well. I could also do a rookie if I wanted a Brazel or a Keenan Allen. Let's mix it up and do a Bateman share here. Where are you at with that wide receiver 2 battle where there's 9 names in Baltimore?
Yeah, I only do it on Lamar teams, but I hear you. I've taken Bateman plenty in the past. If someone comes out and plays well, I think they'll move ahead of him. I'm real skeptical that it's going to be one of these, kind of dusty rookie type things the Ravens are trotting out there. So yeah, I think Bateman's fine. I haven't taken him naked, but I don't think it's the end of the world.
Yeah, it feels like the end of the world right now. So it's nice to hear that.
I've been thinking lately about the Zachariah Branch versus Jahan Dotson battle. All these late wide receivers. I feel pretty good about Pat Bryant. We've talked about Jalen Noel plenty.
To me, the Bateman play, if I'm being completely honest with myself, it's similar. And again, he's older, but it's kind of similar to the Troy Franklin play last year where it's yeah, Pat Bryant's probably coming. He's probably going to get passed on the depth chart by maybe one of these younger guys at some point, but can he hold on for 10, 11 weeks and give me good production?
Oh, am I on the clock? Oh,
you are. Final pick, Mr. Irrelevant here for Levitan.
Thank God I had my queue set up. You know what? I'm going to go for some touchdown hunting in the 4 tight end curious vein.
Ooh.
Who can score 2 touchdowns in Best Ball Mania playoff week and is not 100% drafted? The mountain of a man, Darnell Washington. He's only going to catch 20 passes all year, but maybe 18 of those will be touchdowns.
Dude, I'm jealous because I drafted a really good team in the 10 a.m. slot before you came on. In the last pick I needed a tight end. I had the Rodgers thing. I was I need Darnell Washington, and someone sniped me on him. And so for you to get him with the last pick, is there a funner player to dream on? If you just made, I guess we could do it with some running backs maybe, but if you just gave someone in the league a full-time role, Darnell Washington as 100% route participation tight end in a pass happy offense, would that not be the most enjoyable thing in fantasy football?
He's got to lose 50 pounds. I mean, he's
no, the whole point is we want to watch him pancake people all game.
Yeah. I just think on Underdog specifically, he could actually score multi-touchdown games are definitely in the bag.
Yeah. I just, man, if you could guarantee 10 targets a game to any tight end in the pool, I think I would say Darnell Washington, and then I would select him every time. That would just be too much fun. All right, this team is in the books. I don't know how much fun we had. I think we both kind of played it a little fast and loose at quarterback, myself prominently here. So let's look at Adam's team. We'll recap both of these. Drake May and Daniel Jones, Gibbs, Breece Hall. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, I'm fine. It's not quarterback where I think I messed up. I think my quarterback situation is fine if Daniel Jones proves to be healthy and he's unstacked. I think that's okay. I think I messed up at the I was too running back heavy early, and then I wasn't able to take the Ramondre value there, and you ended up getting the Ramondre value. That's the one that I would take back.
You did get the Rico value, 10 picks past ADP. Even Scatabo slipped a little bit. But yeah, Gibbs, Breece, Scatabo, Rico, Jonah, solid running back room. Wide receivers, Nico, Adams, DK Metcalf, Wilson, Dobbs, Higgins, Ridley. Tight ends, Hunter Henry, Gunnar Helm, AJ Barner, Darnell Washington. Naked Daniel Jones, probably fine, right?
Yeah, if you listen to the ETE projection show that Jack and Mark and Gretch have been doing, they brought up a bunch of points about this is Daniel Jones' right Achilles. It's his plant leg. Is he going to run? Is he going to be able to throw deep? He doesn't have Michael Pittman. Pierce's best skill is going deep. So, like, I think there's some concern there, but I don't really understand why Daniel Jones would be going, like, naked. I think it's fine at 144 when guys like Cam Ward and Stroud and Bryce Young are, like, all going around there or before him. So, yeah, I think Daniel Jones in this setup was fine. I wish I got Stroud, obviously, but that was probably dumb. He was never going to make it back to me.
And then you got the 4 tight ends, Henry, Helm, Barner, Washington. I mean, it's like what in a perfect world, if you had a QB3 that made sense, would you flip your 4th tight end there? But just in the context and flow of the draft, just grabbing the 4th tight end makes sense.
Yeah, and I would have taken Aaron Rodgers if he got back to me there, wherever that was, like 170, whatever. But yeah, I mean, it's just you can't. I mean, I don't know. It seems like the quarterbacks always go before ADP. I don't know how their ADP ever stays where it is because the quarterbacks always goes before ADP in every draft that I'm in. So yeah.
Yep. All right. And then we'll see what I did. And I would prefer to just move on. But as a completionist, I will let you know that I just drafted. This has to be one of the most disgusting quarterback rooms you could ever set your eyes on. Tyler Shough, 10 picks ahead of ADP. Aaron Rodgers, 20 picks ahead of ADP. And Shedeur Sanders in not the 18th round. I had to lock him up in the 17th just in case. My 5 running backs are fine. They're good even, I would say. Barkley, Etienne, Big AU on Ramondre Stevenson, Chuba Hubbard, Big AU as well. Yeah, people were saying they wanted the AUs. I'm even wearing the Value Hound tank top today for Ramondre and Chuba. Chris Rodriguez as my 5th running back. Wide receivers, Lamb, Higgins, DJ Moore, Tyson, Coker, Jeremy Bernard, and Bateman. Tight ends, Fannin, Strange, and Freiermuth. I like the draft capital spent. I like the team structure-wise, running back, wide receiver, tight end. It's just the quarterback room needs a lot of work.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's rooms like that can work. It's just, it's unlikely. I think you're going to need one of your quarterbacks, underdog scoring especially, to score like 25 in the playoffs probably. It seems unlikely one of those guys do it, but maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I think when you do have rooms like this, you are you need a few things, right? You need Shedeur to be the quarterback for the full year, and then you just pray that you can get the ping pong spike weeks. And by spike weeks, I mean it's like you're hitting 27, 28 points a game, not the 35, and just the stack offsets the whatever quarterback goes for 35 or whatever.
Yeah. For sure. I love the jokes around the Balagoon thing are just killing me. It's like, does Mike Pence have the courage to do the right thing and cancel this draft for Pete?
It's so good, man. Like the combination of saying, it's like, first of all, all of the Americans, none of whom have like watched any soccer, and just being like, fuck yeah, let's go. And then like all of the European hardo elitists who watch soccer year round, and they're all so salty. It's so pissed off. It really is absolutely perfect.
It's so good. So good. So good.
What, you say you need action to enjoy everything. Do you have action on the USA game? Or are you enjoying this as just a red-blooded American?
I know it's hard to get action on the USA game because the lines are so inflated towards the other, you know what I mean? Like obviously the true price is way less on the USA side. So no, I haven't really been betting. I'm just a red-blooded American who likes to watch the games, Pete. That's all.
Yeah. Chad, I see the allure of corruption now. This is pretty sweet. This is like, it was like, this is the moment America became a soccer country when we called up FIFA, and who knows what was offered to them over there. But I know Trump promised them something beautiful in return to get him reinstated. I also love, I think I saw this morning, I don't know if it's true, but it was like, they're now letting Belgium appeal the appeal. Appeal the appeal with like literally 12 hours to go. They're like, yeah, by all means, feel free to get your paperwork.
It's such a crazy sport with like the rules. Just like no one knows like what's going on, what's a foul, what's a red card, what's not. It's really crazy. Yeah, I'm sure Ben Harvard is right. Like Belgium money line is a value at this point. I'm sure that's true. Doesn't mean it's going to hit, but I'm sure that's true. And I would never bet that. You can get your ass deported if you bet that. So no, I'm not
I
betting
can't
that.
think of a better father-son moment for you, Levitan, to have secretly bet the Belgium money line. You take your kid to the bar, you guys watching the game, Belgium wins 2-0, everyone's depressed in there, your son is sad, and as you're walking out, you put your hand over him, he said, Belgian money line was a value, and we walk out tonight as real winners. And you like hand them a wad of 20s. I think that sounds like a magical Levitan father-son.
It would be a good learning experience, man. 8% of EV is 8% of EV, man. That's a good learning experience.
I thought you were going to say 8% of every player. That's the other thing you're trying to teach yourself.
No, I do let them draft. I let my kids draft on my account. If if you're ever drafting, you never know if it's me or my kids drafting. But they're like so best ball brained because I talk to them when they're drafting about this stuff, and they're like only trying to stack is basically all they're trying to do. So yeah.
Well, I feel like that's a good place to start, right? I mean, I always talk about sometimes, the reason I think we all gravitate to it is because it just simplifies a draft. Like, instead of having to choose between every player, it narrows the pool in like a logical way. So it's just like, all right, I grabbed ETN. Maybe I take Tyson now. That's basically how I draft.
Exactly.
Oh man. Yeah. Nick wants to know though, have you gotten to the week 17 conversation, or is that basically the birds and bees of conversations?
Yes, we have a video about that. We show them Herzig's video about week 17 bringbacks instead of the birds and bees video. Exactly.
Dude, that's how you kill two birds with one stone. You teach them about week 17 correlation while ensuring that they will never have sex. It's perfect. That's like the number one thing you would want to do. What how you said you're in the throes of coaching basketball right now? Is this summer basketball league?
Yeah, my older son plays for a team that plays all year round. So yeah, we play and practice 12 months a year. So yeah.
Is that like full blown travel stuff now, or still pretty local?
We have tournaments in local mostly, but like sometimes they're like an hour away. We try to play one tournament a season, so the kids can bond. We played a tournament in Nebraska last year, and then we played, I think, one in Kansas maybe. So yeah, we don't have to we're not that good. We don't have to leave the area to get good competition like some other teams do, but it is a good bonding experience for the kids to be in the hotel together and go to the hotel pool and be on the flight together and all that. So yeah, it's good for the team.
Does all that travel, does it tilt you, or you're like, no, this is fun for us?
I mean, man, my older son's 11. I'm not that far away from, I'm not gonna be the coach anymore, and he's not gonna want anything to do with me anymore. So anytime we get a chance to actually do stuff, I get to coach or I get to go travel, it's a huge win. I think, I remember what I was like from age 13 to 20. I probably didn't speak to my parents for 8 years straight. I just grunted and mumbled, you know what I mean? So yeah.
Oh my goodness. Breaking Boards wants you to let the kids moderate man versus machine going forward. This could be your other thing, just in the same way I'm having people host my shows. Maybe the succession plan is just you slowly have your kids do all of your work for you.
I mean, my older son already asked me to be an intern at ETR. I was like, dude, you don't want this. I mean, can you imagine the nepotism allegations? I mean, the draft assistant thing created a whole shitstorm. Forget about what happens if Ben and Sam Levitan are doing shows. It's just gonna be the nepotism people are gonna be after.
Wasn't that, I mean, we're talking, what was that, 13 months ago when you guys came on Lulz and everyone was really pissed off?
Yeah. I actually regret the way we handled that because I didn't fully grasp what the complaint was, because I didn't think that, and it turned out people just didn't understand it. They thought that we had the answers. In chess, what exactly 100% what the right move is, 100%. The solver doesn't know exactly what the right move 100% is. It's giving suggestions based on how we would think about drafting. It doesn't mean that you're getting 100% the right pick. There's a subtle difference there that I think we should have explained better on that show. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think what happened was people were very protective of what happened to DFS, and with Sims across the board, just making it really, really hard for anyone to have a big edge or relative to the edges people had in the past. And they heard the name Solver and thought now that same dynamic was going to accelerate the death of best ball. And they had, I think some of those emotions come from a fair place, but there was also a lot of misunderstanding about what it was.
Yeah.
And the name really worked against it, because the solver is a lot different for what you guys do for salary cap versus what you do for best ball.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you're saying the solver sims are the sims for DFS are worse for the games than best ball assistant is, you think?
Correct.
Yeah. Maybe. I mean, yeah, maybe.
What are you getting excited to play salary cap DFS again this year? Does it feel like you want to kick that can down the road a bit more?
No, I mean, I still play. I play golf. I play golf every week, and I play. I play a little salary cap tennis sometimes.
Ooh, okay.
But yeah, there's nothing like NFL DFS, man. Like, if you want to find something that's far from solved, like NFL DFS, I mean, there's so many casual people, B, so much randomness. Like, it's just the best game. I mean, NFL DFS is like never going to die. It is like the best game.
Yep. All right, Levitan, I'll let you get on your way. I know you got to, are you and your son going to pregame the bar tonight, or will you just catch up right when you roll in for the start?
No, we practice from 5:30 to 7, and then the game starts at 6 out here. So we're actually be rolling in hot to the bar for the second half only. But by the way, I mentioned that C-Rod thing, and JF says there's already a report out there about C-Rod. This is what I'm talking about. Like, these beat writers for the Jaguars just like keep saying stuff, and like people are going to latch onto this, and you're going to get a great value on C-Rod. This is not even the report that I'm talking about. The report that I'm talking about is going to be C-Rod's healthy for the start of training camp, and he's running with the first teamers. That's like a report that I think is going to come out. So
yeah. This one that Roto World just picked up was the Athletics. Jeff Howe said, "Don't be surprised if Chris Rodriguez carves out an important role." To your point, dude, Jags beat reporters, it's nice to have like so much coming out of there, but there are just takes. Is there a beat reporter group that has more takes than the Jags right now?
It's because it's so you can have tons of reasonable takes. Like, it's not that crazy to think any of the 3 wide receivers or Travis Hunter or any of the running backs. Like, it's not crazy to make a case for all these things. So of course, they're going to keep coming out with this stuff. It's just, they don't know. Like, they just don't know. And like, they're just like throwing stuff at the wall. My take is, I think Chris Rodriguez is too cheap right now for sure.
It is fascinating to think about what they're trying to accomplish as a beat reporter, right? I mean, their main thing is they're trying to get people to click their articles, and so that they can show their bosses that people care. I do wonder in their head, I'm guessing there's always an element where those guys do want to serve the fans of the team, and yet fantasy players are where their bread is buttered. And that probably creates some cognitive dissonance for how they approach their job.
Yeah. And like, your job, and I feel some of this too, but I try to avoid it. It's like somebody wants to take on the team that you're supposed to be an expert in, and you say, "Man, I don't know. I really don't know." Like, well, no one's going to click on you. Your boss is going to be like, "What the hell, man?" So like, they can't just say, "I don't know." They have to have a take. I really try to say, if I don't know, I don't know. And then like with a lot of the Jaguar stuff, I'm happy to say I don't know. And like in fantasy, you can say I don't know because there's a strategy in that. All the ambiguous backfield. Like, I don't know. Let's just take the cheapest guy. I think I think saying I don't know is like an underrated skill, clearly in today's society. But like, beat reporters are not going to do that. They're just not.
It is interesting. I've noticed for me too, where I do default to that a lot where it's like, man, I just want to, there's ambiguity. Let me play this through the cheaper pieces. And then it's like, but if you do that too much, it's like, well, you do have to take somebody in round 5 and somebody in round 6. Like you're going to have to bite the bullet eventually.
Yeah. I mean, I was just in a 5-5-5 slow before I woke up and I was on the clock and I was like, Parker Washington was like 7 spots past ADP. And, I don't love it. He's, going in like the late 60s. But I was like, man, I can't just be the one that takes the cheapest Jakobi Meyers and Chris Rodriguez every time. Like I want to have some Parker Washington and BTJ also. So I thought it was just like a good spot to mix in Parker Washington. That's all part of, I don't know. I don't want to be sitting here with 30% Jakobi Meyers and 0 Parker Washington. Like, I don't think that's right. If your take is, I don't know.
Yeah. And I guess the thing for me on it is I just am trying to think through when I make a decision in a draft, whether it's taking BTJ or taking Parker Washington, it's like thinking through the if-then scenarios of, okay, if Parker Washington hits, do I want to then be completely out on like Hunter or something, or thinking through if I take Brian Thomas and I have the chance to grab both of them, like what are the butterfly effect scenarios of those selections?
Yeah, I think if Parker Washington and Brian Thomas play well, it's really hard to see it on Travis Hunter, like really hard to see it,
And I think that's why I've been like, okay, there's a lot from my view of risk with the Parker Washington situation being fragile, just the historical hit rates for players of his mold. And if Travis Hunter does become a thing, it makes the Thomas and Parker Washington prices both extremely tricky. And so it's like, man, to your point, like, aren't there a lot of scenarios where it is a good offense, all of them are involved, and they're all like slight misses at ADP? So to me, the Hunter one becomes the least fragile way and the one with the most asymmetric upside of how to play that entire team.
For sure. And like, it doesn't make much sense to have naked Trevor Lawrence, but in my head, I'm like, man, naked Trevor Lawrence, it's not that bad. He's going to have, he ran last year a bunch. He's going to have some really big games. I think Jaguars offense is going to play well. I don't want to like not take T-Law because I'm not that comfortable, stacking constantly with BTJ or Parker Washington or whatever.
Yeah. Do you think this is like, you were mentioning kind of calling your shot on the C-Rod report. Do you think we will get any bit of good reporting on this Jags wide receiver room before the season starts? Or do you think we're probably just going to be in the same spot we are now in a couple of months?
I think that you'll get reports saying Travis Hunter worked with the X group today, and they'll chart how many days he worked with defense and how many days he worked with offense. That's going to be a thing. That was a thing last year. I think they'll do it again. I think that he can, work with the offense with the idea that he's going to be a situational receiver, not, full time. So I don't know. Like, if you're asking, are we going to get, is Parker Washington in the slot or is Jakobi Meyers in the slot? I kind of doubt that, but
I guess what I'm asking is, do you think a piece of reporting exists that's not injury related that could change your mind on how you feel the pecking order, or will it all just be noise? Because there is so much fragility with the Hunter stuff specifically, and Parker Washington, I would say.
I think if they came, I think Brian Thomas Jr. is going to be out there in 2 wide receiver sets. Not like his role is better in real life. And there's going to be a lot of players like this, I think, and maybe even like Alec Pearson, maybe even Carnell Tate, and like maybe Brian Thomas Jr. You're more valuable to the team in real life. I know Gretsch was talking about this on ETE than you are in fantasy. Like, that ability to get deep down the field and take some shot plays and make them, I think is worth a lot in real life. And so I think BTJ is going to be out there a ton for the Jaguars. The question to me is, in 2 wide receiver sets, is it Parker Washington or Jakobi Meyers? My lean right now is it's going to be Parker Washington. I guess there could be some reporting there that might change my mind, but it would have to be like consistent every day. Parker Washington is with the in 2 wide receiver sets, or vice versa with Jakobi Meyers.
Yeah. And I think one thing you mentioned, the naked Trevor Lawrence thing. I do want to start being more open to that, and even doing it with Hunter and Strange, who are cheap, or even C-Rod back there, because it's one of those things where we get to the spot in the draft, and sometimes we do it with Dart We do it with Nix, Kyler, Willis. But because Lawrence is just a little bit pricier and because the running back and wide receiver options are a little more intriguing there, I normally just like, I'm not going to do naked Trevor Lawrence. And I kind of want, after talking this through, to be more open to doing that there.
Yeah, he can have some huge games, man. He had some huge games last year, T-Law did. I was playing T-Law in DFS cash, like, I don't know, maybe like 4 out of the last 6 weeks or something like that, or 5 out of the last 8 weeks. I mean, he was absolutely smashing.
Yep. All right, dude, I'm going to let you go. Appreciate you as always. People didn't get the heated battle they hoped for, but who knows? Next week is a new, actually, I think you're going to be out next week, right?
Next week, I am out. Yes. Oh no, next week I'm in. I'll see. I'll let you guys know.
We'll be in touch. We'll be in touch.
Next week, I'm definitely good. 13th, I'm definitely good. Yeah, I didn't think people wanted me angry at him anymore. I'm perfectly calm, dude. You know, I got a lot of feedback, like, you know, take it easy. You're gonna give yourself a heart attack, and I agree. So I tried to come in here extra calm today.
All right. Well, I'll do my best to rile you up in future editions then, because people love that as well. All right, Levitan, we'll see you. Go USA, yada, yada. And
yes, USA. Let's go.
All right. Peace.
Later.
All right. There goes Adam Levitan. We're going to have Sam Sherman swinging by here in a second. I'm going to have Sam vamp for me because I'm going to have to go to the bathroom here. Too much coffee here this morning. How is everybody doing? We have 725 people watching live. If you guys haven't hit the like button, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. We're going to be ramping things up specifically in August. Once So You Think You Could Tout comes off my plate, we're going to be adding some more best ball streams, bringing back the randomizer, all kinds of good stuff there. But we are still in So You Think You Can Tout season, and that will be debuting at 2 p.m. Eastern. And then in that episode, there's going to be a quick turnaround. The next challenge that's coming, the next content, it will be announced, and we're going to hit the ground running with that this week. I can't mention it now because it's part of this episode, so you will see that all unfold, but it will be a busy and fun week for So You Think You Can Tout, and I'm excited for you guys all to see that. Like I mentioned before, that is going to debut here in less than 2 hours, 2 p.m. Eastern, on the So You Think You Can Tout channel. Make sure you guys are subscribed over there. And without further ado, welcome back to the Best Ball Breakfast airwaves. It is none other than Sam Sherman. How are we doing today?
I'm good, Pete. I'm refreshed after taking my 1 week absence. Got some downtime from the fantasy football content street, so happy to be back.
Yeah, and it feels very fitting to bring you back on stream with a Roto-World blurb about Chris Rodriguez up. I mean, this is the kind of fodder that they shall Tootin' haters live for. Did you see this report just from earlier today?
I have not. Is this seems like more in the lines of beat writer speculation than like coach quote or anything, but yeah, what's the latest? Has there been any updates on his health? That's what I'm really looking for Chris Rodriguez. Most of the
updates on his health, because it had changed. They said he was going to be ready, that he wasn't going to miss anything. So to me, the reports on the health have been pretty bullish, and you're kind of seeing it in drafts. Like initially when the foot stuff hit, like he was falling to 140.
Yep.
People are still not gravitating to him, but he's more in that 130 range. And I don't know, man, I'm clicking him there. I just did it in the draft with Levitan.
Yeah, I really like him in that spot. I do think, I know it's like a cliche, but I do think he's like an ultimate better in best ball type player, where in managed, it's tough to see the true upside case for him. Sure, maybe in managed he ends up being a solid flex piece or whatever, but he's probably much more in like the small win bucket. But in best ball, when you don't have to predict when the touchdowns are going to happen and where the sort of like 80 yards and a touchdown type scores matter a lot more as compared to managed, I like him a lot. A good cheap way to get exposure to the Jags offense too.
For sure. All right, Sam, I hate to do this to you, but normally I make it at least to the Pat draft, but I do have to go to the bathroom after drinking too much coffee this morning. But I will ask you, what you've been up to. Clearly you missed the show this week. You missed That's Fair. There was talks. Are you going to get Wally pipped by Davis Maddock over there? So let the people know what you've been up to.
I wish I had some exciting news to report of what I've been doing, but really it was just a tough work week in the corporate world. Was traveling to New Jersey. It was 100 degrees down there. Had a bunch of meetings, so nothing exciting in terms of like fantasy space. What I've been focused on the past week, I guess, also been a very dead period in terms of news. One, it's been the continuing Brandon Ayuk crash outs on Instagram, which has, I think, been the top news story of the week. That's been, I guess, interesting, sad. I don't know what the adjective is, but that's certainly been interesting to watch. And then I've been loving, I'll give a shout out to Establish the Edge and Gretch. If anyone is not checked out their, they do sort of a division by division podcast series going over the projections. That's been my main like fantasy football intake over the past week. I've been loving those episodes. Jack Miller, Mark Dankenbring, and Gretch going through those. So yeah, I just wanted to give a shout out to that podcast series. It's like, I think off season after off season, my favorite content to go through. So yeah,
man. I those are I have those all downloaded and they are starting to build up, and I have to get to those because those are such a foundational piece to getting ready for this final push here. I even and I hopped us in a draft here, so I'll head over.
Nice.
But as you can see on the screen, Sam, this morning I officially entered slow draft hell because I was doing some math, and I'm like, I want to max the eliminator. I want to max some of these contests. And so I'm like, all right, I have to start now so it doesn't get too cumbersome.
How many did you like in total? How many slow drafts you got going?
Well, I'm gonna, for like weekly winners and eliminator, I'm gonna try to enter like 30 a week because what happens, right, is come the drafts generally take like, I think it's like 16 to 17 days is like median time for a slow draft. And then we know that the clocks speed up 2 weeks before the start of the season. So if you want to get them all done before the clocks speed up, I basically did the math on how many I have to enter between now and when that happens. And it's 30 a week between now and then.
Yeah, that's tough. I mean, I hate slow drafts. I mean, as long as like you don't get into the time where the clock starts to like change and run down on you, which you're plenty safe from that now. That is really the worst. When the clocks go down from what is it, 8 hours to 4 to 2, like they start cutting in half. It's just, that's the worst. Oh, I feel like we haven't got a back half of the board pick like this entire summer.
I know
it's rare, so nice.
We got the 112 here with Sam. Yeah, I feel, we have had a lot early, so we'll get to enjoy the double tap range here. This is my 70th Best Ball Mania draft here with Sam Sherman. Unfortunately, Levitan snaked you on the 69th draft, so you'll have to deal with this one here.
Bummer. Was that as combative as it's been the past couple of weeks?
No, it was a very subdued Levitan today. He
wow.
maybe the 4th of July weekend, it chilled him out. We're on the clock here. By ADP, it's Cook, Barkley, Hampton, Walker, Achane, so we can mix and match however you like.
Yeah, let's go lock in Cook first. I like him the best of that group. Here after Cook, it's kind of like Barkley and Ken Walker would be my next two choices. I think they're both awesome picks. I think I would lean with ADP and go Barkley. Realize it's the chalk move, but I actually did want I was interested to see if Genty would make it this far, because I think that is like the interesting one for me, where I have been lower. I didn't expect to be low on Genty going into the season. I kind of thought that like, oh man, the Raiders drafted a first-round running back that was a huge bust in year one. Like I thought there'd be some of that like stink on him going into year two. It's just interesting to me, like, you think about the Eagles, Bills, Chiefs offenses, Chargers as well with Hampton going there. And then you compare that with like the Raiders just from like a team totals standpoint. It's just interesting to me that like Genty is the first one in that group. I totally like, I do get the upside case for him in terms of volume, but some of the trends with like running backs on teams quarterback by a rookie QB aren't so great. Like, I do think the Raiders will be better than last year, but like, how much of a step are they really gonna take. Long way of saying I'm just a little bit higher on like these backs in better offenses than Genty, I think.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. And I think it was, I don't know what pod, it might've been Davis with Pat, but they were talking about how Genty's like ADP specifically in stream rooms, like he's the player in round one people are willing to plant their flag on the most as far as reaching ahead of ADP. I think it's 3 factors. It's the youth. He's younger. I think he projects to catch more balls than like the Cook in Barkley. So people always like the thought of like, if you do put together the legendary season and it doesn't require 20 touchdowns to get there, like Genty. And then I think it's just like, okay, that last year, the offensive line was horrible. The quarterback play was horrible. If I think those are better, if I combine all those factors, you can talk yourself into Genty being like the 103 next year. And then I think that's how we end up with people taking him at 105. I'm not saying that's correct, but I think that's how the market has gotten there.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. And I think it's also that like people are super high on Kubiak, which I get. I guess I'd just be shocked if like the Raiders, like I think we're going to see like a promising step forward for the Raiders this year. I guess I'd be surprised if they're going to produce an offensive environment that has anything close to the ceiling of the Bills, Eagles, Chiefs. But the receptions piece, I think, is a good one. Like thinking about like a PPR, like managed pick, that's a huge bonus to Genty for sure. But yeah, anyways.
And I guess the next question would be like, you know, hypothetically, say you had the 112 and the board always looked like this. How many times, if you had 100 of these, how many times did you take Cook, Barkley? How many times, like how much would you mix up these running backs here? I think is the interesting kind of combo.
Yeah, I think, man, I do it the boring way where I default to ADP just because I think like enough times someone else will reach for someone and I'll like get natural diversification of the combos from there. But like, I guess if I like could perfectly map it out, I would want to split it up. I would want to pull up Ken Walker a little bit. I think like Walker, Derrick Henry, Chase Brown, I would put in that same tier as those guys.
Back on the clock by ADP, Allen, McConkey, Igbuka, McMillian, Wilson, Jacobs. Tell me your favorite wide receiver first, and I'll put that in.
Let's do Ladd. All
right, I'll put Ladd in there. Buy us a few seconds of time here. I did notice ETR has moved Igbuka up in their ranks, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
I have 0% of Igbuka, I just noticed. But who do you like here?
I'm actually okay with Josh Allen here. Yeah. I know. I think I would go Allen with the combo with James Cook. I'm curious what you think on Allen, because I know like I think the standard like opinion of basketball folks to listen to is that he's overpriced. And I see the ETR rank is what, like he's at 37. We picked him at 37. So I guess ETR views this as fair value. For me, I think I totally agree that like relative to Jaden Daniels, Lamar Jackson, he is overpriced. But I view it more in just that like those quarterbacks are underpriced more so than like Allen is massively overpriced, because this wide receiver tier, I mean, it is pretty flat. You look at like McMillian, Igbuka, all the way through like Christian Watson around where Lamar Jackson goes. I actually don't think like there's that big of a difference in the wide receiver quality there, to be honest. And then like Josh Allen, just like every single year, he's the QB1, and every single year, like if you look at fantasy points above replacement, like overall, Hayden Winks does a good job of tracking this. He's always in the like top 25, top 30. Like he basically pays off this like 37 pick like every single year. I get he's not the best QB value, but he's not someone I want to be completely fading. But yeah, curious what you think.
No, I agree. I think it is. I like your point that it's not necessarily that Josh Allen should be cheaper. It's that those other quarterbacks should be more expensive. It does, like, if you simplify it and look at the 2v2s, it is really saying, could like you're talking about your Jordan Tyson, your Brian Thomas, your Marvin Harrison, whatever the wide receivers, could that Allen and, wide receiver combo, could that beat out the Igbuka, the Tetairoa with Jaden? or whatever those 2v2s are. And it's like, that's not far-fetched. Like, I think you're getting it in better on the cheaper quarterback side, maybe like 55, 60, versus, and maybe even that's too high up. But I feel like it's a weighted coin flip in favor of the cheaper quarterback. But if it's a weighted coin flip, do you want to have, 2% Josh Allen and 18% Jaden Daniels? Probably not.
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of at. It's just like, I know it's like a really simplified view, but it's like if Josh Allen pays off being a top 25 best ball player every year, like he can't be that bad of a pick at pick 37. And I don't want to overthink it too much. I also think the James Cook thing is interesting. There's been some buzz that they want to get him involved more as a pass catcher. I've always thought he's a guy who has the talent to do that if they chose to use him that way. So that is like an interesting wrinkle there. It's a pretty weak pass catching group, depending on your opinion of DJ Moore, who we might actually have the choice of if we go with him here.
Let's see here. And this is the other issue with the Allen pick, right? Is you do get these Lamar falls here as well, which I think, like, if you guaranteed yourself Lamar at the 5-6 turn, you're never taking Josh Allen. I think we have to go more with one of these, right?
I think we do. I think I would go Moore and probably Odunze. Let's see. Are there any tiebreakers to the other guys? I'm an Odunze guy. I know ETR is a bit lower on him. Let's see. Are there other like week 17 anything bye week stuff? I don't really want to go Brian Thomas because that's our third week 7 bye guy.
Yeah.
So I think it's Odunze or Tyson for me. I'll let you make a call if you want to.
I haven't done much Odunze here. I guess I'm at 6.6, 10.5. The interesting conversation around Rome has obviously been the foot stuff. We get the video over the weekend of him running fast on the treadmill. I guess to me, there's multiple concerns, right? It's just like, is this the Burden and Loveland breakout year?
Yeah.
And Rome is a really fancy number 3, or do we get and the injury stuff, or do we anchor to his draft capital and write off last year as an injury riddled year and that he still can be the number 1 there?
Yeah, I had trying to pull up the notes I had on Odunze I think this is for an ADP chasing show, but so I think the interesting thing with Odunze is it's kind of similar to Igbuka in terms of like how much credit do you want to give him for the hot start he had last year before the injury, which in my opinion I think derailed Odunze's season. So in weeks 1 to 8 last year, before he started showing up on the injury report with foot and heel issues, which really tanked him towards the end of the season, over that 8-week sample, he was at a 26% target share, 15.5 PPR points per game. That would be the wide receiver 9 last year on a PPR basis if you just take those first 8 weeks. Then from weeks 9 towards the end of the season, his target share tanked. He went from 23% targets for outrun to just 18%. His PPR points per game got cut in half all the way down to 7.2. So I think some of that obviously was Loveland and Burden coming on down the stretch. You can't just say it was like entirely injury caused, but he was like a clear number 1 focal point of the offense pre-injury last year. And I am optimistic that is still a possibility this season. But yeah, it depends. The foot stuff is interesting. I don't know how to read like some of the quotes he had on that this offseason. Certainly a bit confusing, but I still believe in the upside case for Odunze.
Yeah. And I would say of all of these guys, or at least of the trio that I kind of mentally grouped, the Brian Thomas, Marvin Harrison, Rome, he's the one I am most interested in betting on the bounce back and kind of seeing how that could work out in a way where we are drafting him in round 2 next year, where I just really have a hard time seeing us doing that with Harrison or Thomas at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. The other thing I was going to say on Allen, which is like, this argument does not fit this team because we took DJ Moore and James Cook with premium picks. But what I do like about Allen is how cheap Shakir, Kincaid, and those guys go. So on this team, obviously we're betting on DJ Moore. He fell to us. I think it made sense. But like, you can get a pretty cheap overall Allen price if you do like the Kincaid Allen stack, which I do like.
Yeah, so we go Cook, Barkley to start, come back, do Ladd, and then obviously Josh Allen. DJ Moore comes back to us at 60. We grab Rome at 61. The 11 hole did the smart thing, knowing we had Allen. They passed on Lamar, knowing we were unlikely to go double elite quarterback there. So they get Lamar early round 6. Nice team cooking there. And we can check the board here for this 7-8 turn with a 1, 2, 3, 0. This is always kind of a tricky spot of the board.
Yeah. Yep. Man, Alec Pierce is scary.
I will say, Kraft at this price is interesting. I also, my eyes gravitate to pulling up like a Godwin or Downs. I'm open to a lot of different plays here.
Yeah. I like the Kraft call. I think we locked that in, and I think I'd probably go wide receiver here. I guess, Dowdle would be an option, I guess.
Yeah, Dowdle. He's been falling a little bit, but yeah, I think he's very much here. Yeah,
I like Godwin. I think I like Godwin. I think I'm with you on that. He's been a guy I've been warming up to. As just like 2 years ago, he was, I think before he got hurt, like a top 3, top 4 wide receiver in fantasy when Liam Cohen made him the focal point of the offense. He's not that old. He's 30 years old, just turned 30 actually in February. So he's like a young-ish 30 still. And he still like got decent target volume last year. I don't have the exact numbers pulled up, but like he was woefully inefficient on a per target basis. But when he came back, they were like still getting him involved in the offense, even an offense that had Mike Evans, Igbukah, etc. So I think there's just some chance, like 2 years post injury, like we saw the same thing with Pollard, obviously a younger player, but Pollard that first year back from that fractured ankle was like really inefficient, and then the second year started to see more juice. So yeah, I do have some optimism on Godwin. What are your thoughts on him? I know you like called him out there. So
yeah, to me it just feels like everything is lining up for a really big bounce back year for him to kind of be the alpha there. And I'm just more skeptical. I know clearly how the market has it ordered. Everyone's saying like Igbukah is the guy who ascends here. Igbukah is a second round pick next year. To me, I'm just like more confident in who Godwin is as a player and what his role is going to be in the offense. And it's also not a TD dependent bet in a way. I think Igbukah is in a lot of ways. When I take Igbukah, like gimme Baker, gimme Otten, like you're saying this offense is going to cook again. I could see scenarios where Godwin is kind of like the one winner at cost for these wide receivers. And to me, that when you factor in the price discrepancy, I mean, we just took him a little over or less than 4 rounds after Igbukah. That's a big youth tax to pay for Igbukah relative to Godwin.
Yeah. I think I'm with you there. I think it's one of those things where people are looking at past years' efficiency data, and it's always scary when a wide receiver who's aging, coming off an injury, has like a down year, but I want to leave open some possibility that he can bounce back. So I agree with you there. Okay, interesting on this build. Yeah, two running backs early, and then completely taking our foot off the gas through 9. It'll be interesting to see what we can do here. I'm guessing like one of these 2 picks ideally is a running back. I don't think we have to force it. Other than that, I think we have some flexibility at the other positions.
Yeah, I agree. Normally, this is a spot where if you don't have Allen, you're like, all right, we got to lock up a quarterback here to make sure we don't get shut out. But with Allen, we have so much flexibility there. I guess I will say Baker's really the only other. Or I guess Jordan Love. Jordan Love could be an option.
I would. Yeah, Love is an option. Are there any big ADP fallers? I guess not really.
No. Brooks goes. Rashad White, Aaron Jones, Jordan Love.
I kind of like. Do we do Gainwell for one of the picks to keep betting on Tampa Bay?
Yeah,
and then
let's do that.
Yeah, and then we could do Baker. That's a bit of a reach, I guess. Or we do Love.
I'll put Love, Rashad White. I mean, you could do like a Golden.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I like Golden. I think I would do that, and then I don't think Love will make it back to us. It's very unlikely, but I feel like with Josh Allen, like the benefit of taking him is you can like punt the QB2 a little bit, and we can end up with some back stacks here where we do like Mendoza and Aaron Rodgers or something like that. I think that was the right call to get some more wide receiver upside in this team.
Yeah, in the there's a chance Baker could come back. The Igbuka drafter already has Hurts and Goff, so that could potentially work. And like you said, I think it's kind of us taking advantage of the Allen selection and like what does it allow us to do. I guess the only other thing would have been like, do you do Golden and Love and just really push RB3 and do more of a late punt build with the rest of the running back slots?
Yeah. I'm just like, whenever the thing with the late running backs just get wiped out so quickly. I think like a lot of people do, I feel a lot better about my ability to like scrounge together some points from wide receivers late versus running backs. So I think that would have been viable, but I think I liked how we played it. Golden is a guy also I'm high on, but I checked my exposures and I'm only at like 3 or 4% or something. I checked it this past weekend. So like, I kind of want to line that up with how I actually feel about him at this price.
Yeah. No, I'm with you on that as well, where I'm trying to, it's so funny. And I think when you do, the more drafts you do, it's easy to get in, I don't know, the rut of like familiarity of like the pockets of the board. Yeah. It's just like, oh, this is generally where I'm grabbing my quarterback, and I've already kind of got my 4 wide receivers, and like Golden is never like a necessary piece to what I'm trying to do, which then creates a blind spot for a player you want to be higher on in our case with Golden, which is kind of a tricky thing to work through.
Yep. Yeah, agreed.
All right. Baker does go, which he goes unstacked, whatever. We knew that might happen. Mm-hmm. If we're looking at options here, I mean, Kincaid on an Allen team certainly makes sense. I think we lost Shakir, which will survive. We could entertain Shough, who's fallen 10 picks past ADP. Malik Willis is always like a port in the storm when you're looking for quarterbacks. We actually have some options here depending on how you want to play this.
I think I like going one of those 2 quarterbacks. Man, I think I would go Willis. I know Shough is the ADP value. I see Willis is like the ETR rank value. I think I'm more on the Willis train here, unless I'm fine with Shough if that's what you want to do. But
no, I don't feel strongly.
Okay, and then you mentioned Kincaid went, a bit of a bummer. What are the running backs here? Not really much, huh?
Shit. We're down to that Pacheco tier. So we could do like Goddard if you like him.
Yeah.
Or do you see something else you like?
What about, can we do Shaheed actually?
Yeah.
If you can get it in. Nice.
Yeah, let's talk Shaheed. I just wrote about him in the Fantasy Life newsletter the other day. Obviously a lot of positive chatter about things being different for his usage this year.
Yeah, I'm totally buying into that. I think his stats last year, like it was always the case that wide receivers traded mid-season see pretty dramatic fall-offs in their stats. It's just so hard to board a moving train. There have been exceptions to that. There's been the Davante Adams going to play with Aaron Rodgers and he immediately, hit. But that's more the exception than the rule. And I do think the investment they gave him this offseason, I mean, they looked at their roster and they said, do we want to pay Super Bowl MVP Kenneth Walker or do we want to pay Rashid Shaheed, and they chose Shaheed for actually, I think, slightly more money than the Walker contract. So I think that tells you like how much they value him. Certainly some of that value is special teams, being a deep threat that can open up space for other players, like non-fantasy football related value. But I do think that wide receiver contract is a real indication he's going to be the number 2 this year. Like last year it was, Cooper Kupp in 2 wide receiver sets. I'd be pretty shocked if Shaheed doesn't leapfrog him there. I would definitely expect him to. And I think he showed a lot of talent in New Orleans. There were times where he was going head to head with Chris Olave in terms of target share during that stretch in 2024 before Shaheed had the meniscus injury, I believe. So I'm a big believer in Shaheed's talent. I think last year was just like a weird season for him, and I want to be all in at this price. He's one of my highest exposure wide receivers.
Yeah, I think like if I were to play the devil's advocate on it, it's just like how much of this, because what you actually kind of want to see, right, is a little bit of a structural change to how they're operating their offense, where he got squeezed in those 2 wide receiver sets with Kupp and JSN, and they were, a lot of the power football in the running game. And they're just like, yeah, you're going to do special teams for us. So like if we hear more about like 3 wide receiver sets, they did say like they want to use him more short intermediary, not just as a glorified deep threat. The concern for me would be, it's like, is this a situation when coaches talk about a backup running back and they're like, this guy's so talented, we got to get him more touches. We got to get him more touches. And then push comes to shove. They're like, we're just going to give the bell cow 20 touches a game, almost even like the Corum thing. I think there's probably better examples. And so I'm like, is this just coach speak of like, yeah, we know this guy's really talented. Like we gave up a lot to get him relatively. When push comes to shove, do they actually execute a structural change in their offense for Rashid Shaheed?
Yeah, it's a good question, but I think that's the upside case, right? I think there's also just like maybe the base case where he just like gets much more snaps in 2 wide receiver sets. His target rate doesn't jump, but he just like hits on a couple deep balls and can pay off the 140 price. Anyways, we should
Daniel Jones is a quarterback faller here. We could also be in the market for tight ends, Schultz, Sadiq, Hawk, Spears if we want to get another running back.
I think Spears while I think over the next pick.
Let's get good. Spears for a 4th here. And then, we can talk through. We got a 2-4-6-1 here.
Man, I don't know if we need the Daniel Jones pick right here. I'd probably go with Sadiq, I think. I'm open to your suggestions, though.
No, you and I draft Sadiq a lot. I like him here. We have Kraft.
We don't have any rookies on this team, I don't think, right?
No. I'm going to count Matthew Golden as a glorified rookie selection.
Yeah, he's
just re-rolling.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. One other
go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. No, I was just going to say the chat also talking about the Shaheed conversation, that if Shaheed does hit, Darnold would be one of the most mispriced QBs on the board. Nez says, Crum agrees there. I do agree with that. Like if Shaheed is hitting and we get JSN and they're throwing more, whatever, because they're not giving, Sharbs and Kenneth Walker the ball as much. Like you could see him having, I don't know, I don't want to get too hyperbolic, but could he have the Matthew Stafford light season where he's just operating at a high level in a really proficient offense?
I think a jump for Darnold is possible. Like we've seen pockets of him being a fantasy friendly quarterback. It's kind of weird last year, despite the team success, he wasn't that like fantasy friendly because they were so good on defense, very run based. He was very efficient when he passed. He just didn't have to drop back that much. So you probably need like the defense to take a bit of a step back and the running game to take a step back. I think reasons to believe both of those could happen. With Walker leaving, Charbonnet starting the season on IR. So I could see it. And maybe then I was looking back at our team. It's like, if I had thought of the Shaheed thing, maybe we just rip Darnold Shaheed instead of Willis potentially there. But I like Darnold. I like Darnold a lot at his current value.
Yeah. So here's the squad so far: 2-4-6-2, Allen and Willis, James Cook, Barkley, Kenny Gainwell, and Spears at running back. I do think it was smart to get that 4th running back there. Ladd, DJ Moore, Rome, Godwin, Golden, Shaheed. I also think, looking back on this room and the fact that we did kind of push wide receiver, making sure we lock up like a Golden, Shaheed, guys that do have some legitimate post-hype breakout appeal in that range made sense. And then Kraft Sadiq, a solid 2 tight end room.
Yeah. And last thing I'll say on Shaheed, this was a point I think I heard Hayden Winks make, or maybe it was Josh Norris in their podcast. Like, you look at the second wide receiver / tight end to go on every single team, and the Seahawks are close to like last for that. And the other teams are like the Dolphins, like these teams we expect to be terrible. Basically, the point is like, you would expect there's some pass catcher on the Seattle Seahawks, the team that just won the Super Bowl, to pay off this year. And the second one of their pass catchers doesn't go to pick like 140. We have multiple Jets, pass catchers, other teams that we expect to be worse than that going before that. So just an interesting like structural ADP thing there.
Yes. So we're about to pick at the 15-16 turn, 180, 181 here for us. You and I have both been in on Dulcich, both kind of in a vacuum. And obviously when we have Willis, that's an option.
Mm-hmm.
The, Ridley's here by ADP. Also, Stribling has dropped past ADP. How do you want to play this?
I think I'd probably go Stribling just for the ADP value. Oh, he goes. Okay.
Sorry.
All good.
Gino, if you wanted the third quarterback, we don't need it, but just mentioning that.
Man, this is tough. I guess
Dulcich in the queue.
Yeah, I think Dulcich as the default, because I can't think of anything better.
Running back range, we're in real dart territory here.
I'd probably go one of these wide receivers. I think.
Ridley, Branch, Antonio Williams, Judy.
What's the ETR rank? Ridley. I'm good with defaulting to them.
Yeah, Ridley, the highest at 163 there.
Yeah, let's. I think Ridley. I mean, we don't have a lot. Like I talked about, like rookies on this team. You had a good point. Like Golden is kind of, in terms of like archetype or like risk profile, is kind of like a rookie in some ways, and we don't really know what we're getting out of him. And then we also have guys like Godwin, Odunze, which are kind of boom bust in that like we saw some red flags last year. So I think like going for a safer pick in Ridley versus like a Antonio Williams or a whatever Ted Hurst type bet probably is the right archetype for this team.
Yeah, so we come out of that turn with our third tight end and our 7th wide receiver. I think we're in good shape everywhere. It's just kind of finding. We'll probably have to get a little creative with a running back selection at the end, because otherwise we're in good shape.
Yeah, Ray Davis and Lloyd. Wow, both. I mean, Davis doesn't really make sense for this team because we have Cook.
Right.
Lloyd is just like the guy I like in this range. You want to pull up the running backs actually and talk through it, because I do think I would like a 5th here. Man, it's oof.
Yeah, so for the audio listeners at home, best available in round 17 by ADP: Emmett Johnson, Jaden Blue, Mike Washington, Singleton, Katron Allen, Braylon Allen, Jordan James, Holani, Claiborne, Justice Hill. And then our running back room is Cook, Barkley, Gainwell, Spears. So we got the 2 up top, and then we got kind of the 2, pass catching complementary backs in Gainwell and Spears. I mean, it feels like a team to take a rookie dart or a high upside contingent bet.
Yeah. And then, I mean, I think 4, like, I don't love 4 here. Like, I think we could probably look back in this team and be like, oh, we should have like taken a Brian Robinson or something somewhere. But I also wonder if we're just like too much into zero risk with these guys, and if we should just go. Our quarterback's wiped out, right?
Yeah, let's double check. Yeah, we're into that tier.
Yeah.
I will say, if we feel thin at running back, and the chat mentions this as well, I do think this is a good spot for Holani. I do think the early season production is going to be there. We took Shaheed, so we got a little Seattle stuff cooking. He is, I think, probably of the names I see on the board, one of the least likely to be a stone zero, just if we're forecasting out to how they're talking about him now. So I would mention him as a potential option here.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm fine with that. I haven't taken him, but like, man, it's not like there's amazing options at any position. Ayuk, no chance. I think Zachariah Branch is actually interesting on this team. He falls way past ADP. So maybe Branch and Holani, unless we come up with something better in these 10 seconds.
Branch, let's do Holani, and then that'll be our fifth running back. And then we can see, do you like, I mean, again, it would basically be if you wanted to do like a rookie bet on Claiborne or Allen, or get this 8th wide receiver here, get another rookie wide receiver.
Yeah.
Kind of what we're deciding.
I think I would stick with 5 running backs and go with a wide receiver. And I think Branch, I think I do Branch. Is that ETR rank too here? It's probably close to top.
Yeah.
Or we don't need Kupp.
Yeah. We got to take it from Cooper Kupp. All right. So we do grab Zachariah Branch there. He has the 179 ADP, falls to 205. Not that the ADP slides matter that much, but we do get our token rookie wide receiver here, and we add George Holani as our running back 5. All right, here's the team. Josh Allen and Malik Willis at quarterback, 5 running backs, James Cook, Barkley, Kenny Gainwell, Tajay Spears, George Holani. Wide receiver room, we get to 8 here. Ladd, DJ Moore, Rome, Godwin, Golden, Shaheed, Ridley, and Branch. And then the 3 tight ends, Kraft, Sadiq, and Dulcich. What do you think?
Yeah, I like it. I think it's the Holani pick that I don't love, like, being forced to make. And I feel like the most uncertain about that decision, like, I think if we're drafting with like the sidekick, right? Or maybe they've changed their inputs and they really love Holani. But like in general, I think like from drafting with the Sims, they're like, oh, you know what? All these running backs are zeros. Just take like a 4th tight end or take like a 9th wide receiver, because all the running backs are dead there anyways. I generally have like slightly disagreed with that approach and been like, hey, this is a very thin running back room. I think it makes sense to take like some kind of upside flyer at running back. So anyways, that's the decision I'm like most uncertain about. Other than that, I think it's a really fun, balanced team. I worry about the zero risk with someone like Holani.
Yeah, I think I guess it's interesting. I guess it's all contextual. I think I worry about the zero risk for him less than I do a lot of.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
Round.
Yeah.
Again, it's just how much you believe it. There is a 2-leg parlay to it, right? He does have to be ahead of Emmanuel Wilson for this to work. But if you do accept that premise, in the early reporting is he is ahead of him, I do really think like Price is going to be fairly limited to start the season from a touch count. Like I don't know, like what do you think? Let's even just say like weeks 1 through 6, or even say, pre-Sharp's return. Like how many touches a game do you think Price projects for?
Man, that's a good question. I mean, if I was thinking like week 1, I would guess like 5 to 10 carries is like what I'm kind of expecting week 1. But then by like week 8, I do think he's going to kind of take over the role and be like 15 carries, 2-3 targets type of guy, like 60% of snaps. Like that's my baseline expectation. But I think there's a wide band on it. I think like honestly, like this is a Super Bowl team. Like they're not going to prioritize getting like reps for a rookie running back. They're going to play the guy who gives them the best chance to win. And that might be a guy who's like more reliable in pass protection or short yardage or something like that. You know what I mean? So I think there is a wide band on like how ready Price is to step up week 1. So yeah, that's my read right now. The other thing I was looking at, like Holani, like you look at the 2 games after Charbonnet got hurt, he played 35 and 34% of snaps. That was conference championship and Super Bowl last year. So that's like meaningful snaps they trusted with him with last year.
Yeah. No, and I think that's part of the Holani thesis, right? They trusted him. I want to say, wasn't Was it the game that even both of them were back, Sharps and Walker, and they still gave Holani a goal line carry? I'm sure the chat can correct me on that, but I want to say that they were still finding ways to get him touches even at full strength. And I also, do want to listen to the reporting. I think there was a lot of initial enthusiasm for Wilson, but it has consistently been, Holani is the guy with the one. So yeah, the Seattle backfield is fascinating. I think there's a lot of ways for this to shake out depending on the variables are so huge, right? It's like, how quickly can Price earn the coach's touches and basically kind of outperform what his prospect profile indicated he is potentially being overdrafted. And then 2, when does Sharps return? Like, those 2 variables are massive. I am so far willing though to say Holani over Wilson. And if you do that, then you get to this point.
I think maybe that's the point that I want to feel more confident in, is like Kalani over Wilson. I think all the indications are that that's true. He's also the incumbent, so you'd expect that to be true. So yeah, maybe that's just where I need to come around to feel comfortable with the pick. Because I agree with you. Like, if he's the clear RB3, then you get hey, he's going to have a role early in the season with the rookie running back coming on, and 2, Charbonnet late season ACL tear, he could not be back till like week 12, 13, 14, even potentially like until the playoffs, right? Like, I can imagine a situation where like the Seahawks are close to clinching the playoffs. Are they going to rush Zach Charbonnet back for some meaningless games versus save him for the playoffs? Like, that's another question. So I think you sold me a bit on Holani. I just think, monitoring the reports.
I just want to be clear. I haven't been clicking him that much, but in true best ball bro fashion, we can build arguments for and I did think he made sense for this team though, where we were kind of being like Gainwell RB3, Spears RB4.
Yep. I agree with that.
Any other thoughts on this team? It's an interesting wide receiver room because we don't have the high-end guy. It is a lot of speculative bets. And yet with Lad, DJ Moore, Rome, you have 3 guys who could be the wide receiver one. And let's even extend that to Godwin. And then you have Golden and Shaheed as like the ultimate spike week guys who could also maybe see their target shares increase. Ridley as the eat your vegetables veteran, Branch as the mystery box rookie. I think as far as a punt wide receiver room, so to speak, this looks pretty nice.
Yep. And I like it's weird because I think like I've drafted a lot of DJ Moore on stream. So I feel like I've been making the argument for him a lot, even though like he's a guy overall I'm certainly low on. But I do think that like there's enough of an upside case that like when he falls past ADP, I'm willing to take him. It just, maybe it's in the stream drafts, Pete, where all the people who think like us join these drafts and they're like, oh, I don't want to take DJ Moore. He always seems to fall like 5 picks past ADP in the rooms I'm in.
Yeah. Yeah. This morning has been a weird one. I've been mentioning it. We didn't really find ourselves in these pockets with the way we drafted, but there does seem to be, and I don't know if it's just the stream room stuff today, but some of these running backs sliding a little further. Like you see Montgomery even at pick 55, like even the past month or so, that wasn't happening. Like Montgomery was going at the 4 or 5 turn. So just an interesting shift today.
Yeah. How have you been? The one that I think is crazy is the QJ rise.
Yeah.
Where did he go in this one?
Good question. Let's see here.
I think he went to the 1 spot.
72.
Yeah. But that's like almost ADP now, right? He's like actually up. Isn't he close to up that high now? It's kind of crazy. Let me check.
76.
76. Yeah, that I have been because I feel like QJ is like the type of guy that like I feel like normally in the underdog market gets price because he's very like talk about the Slapsis episode that you guys did. He's like very right-wing, anti-underdog type of player. You know what I mean? Like, I think a lot of people are out on him based on what he showed as a rookie, but I don't understand where this is. It just like beat reports that like he could be the focal point of a McDaniel offense or something. I can't wrap my mind around what this rise is from.
Yeah, I know the like ADP chasing guys talked a little bit. Levitan was equally confused on Market Monday. I guess the 3 things that I would probably point to is there's including from myself, but there's a lot of enthusiasm for the Chargers this year. Like everybody wants pieces of the Mike McDaniel offense. I've talked myself into Ladd. I've started to talk myself even into Keaton Mitchell. So if I'm a proxy for people working themselves up into a fever pitch, so there's that. I think one thing that happened in this draft, right? The Herbert drafter just double tapped QJ in Herbert. I think there's an element of people being like, let me grab these two guys here together. And also, I think we're in this range, right, where after Tyson comes off, like this is the choose your own adventure, choose your flavor of wide receiver. And people are just saying, I want QJ with Herbert over the Metcalf projectable volume, over the Parker Washington ambiguity. Alec Pierce is hurt. Cortland Sutton's now the wide receiver too. I think they're just like talking themselves into QJ being as part of this tier.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just I guess like I get it from like the coach excitement. I mean, you just look back to last year. I get part of this was like impacted by the Chargers O-line issues. It's tougher to get the ball to your downfield playmaker when Justin Herbert has 2 seconds to throw it, but he dropped pretty dramatically from year 2 to year 3 in terms of targets per route run, down to 16%. Was only at 1.4 yards per route run. Now entering year 4, it's just like typically, I guess, kind of a crazy profile to be rising. It's like a purely vibes-based rise. Maybe it's kind of like I guess we saw this a bit with like JMO, right? Heading into year 3, where it was like 2 years in the league. JMO had basically done nothing, but there was just so much buzz about, oh, he's going to take the next step. He's physically talented, etc. And it kind of worked for JMO, like not in a huge hit type of way, but yeah, more or less like worked for him. So maybe it can work for QJ as well. But yeah, he's the one. I think his price I find kind of the most most offensive currently. I don't think I would have any QJ.
It does like, at least with, I've been skeptical of the Alec Pierce stuff, but if you want to use another comparable of a wide receiver going in this range, who's primarily a deep threat, at least with the Pierce stuff and with the contract, and we make fun of the beat report saying he's going to get 10 to 12 targets a game, but you are selling yourself on there being an increase in targets without Pittman there. Like I see that. With QJ, it does feel like you're paying like this pretty big touchdown expectation tax, because like that's how he's going to get there. I don't really see QJ, even without Keenan Allen there, taking a huge target leap, especially with what they want to do with Gadsden and Trey Harris coming on and Ladd's continued development. So I'm just like, man, you're paying a lot for this man to get to double-digit touchdowns again.
Yeah. One guy in the chat wrote, QJ is a bet against a small white dude being the clear number 1. It's a racially motivated pick for me.
Yeah, that's the best excuse I've heard so far.
Honestly, I do kind of have that thought with whenever I take Ladd. I'm just like, oh man, small white guy. We're sure about this. So I do get the logic there. That's a funny.
Normally I would be there,
comment.
but Ladd had some insane measurables. He's a very athletic dude. So
yeah, he's a beast.
He plays above the rim a little bit there.
He does. Yeah, he's not your typical coach's son. High IQ type of guy.
It's not the Julian Edelman thing, right? Where it's like you can be good, but like you're not the most like he's very athletic.
Yeah. Speaking of like, someone threw on like Wes Welker highlights onto the timeline on Twitter the other day. I forget who it was. I want to say it was like one of the film Twitter guys, like Ted Wynn or Nate Tice, someone like that. I can't remember. But I was watching. I was like, dude, how did he looked like a plumber out there running routes. Like it worked. It was so effective. It like worked so well, but it's like jarring to see how like stocky and like unathletic Welker looked in those highlights. Maybe it's just the NFL has evolved since then, but I'm like, man, Welker was like, he was putting up what, like 1,400 yard seasons.
I'll tell you how. You had Randy Moss and Gronk drawing defensive attention. You had the greatest quarterback of all time throwing him the ball. So he made it work.
Man, that was crazy. I just feel like I watched Wes Welker as like a kid. I mean, like in middle school, and I was like, man, this guy was a beast. And then I went back and watched him. I was like, how is this guy ever good? It's I wrote about
like the Chargers in the 4th of July edition of the Fantasy Life newsletter, and I was making a joke about no taxation without production, and that we're all paying this extreme Mike McDaniel tax on basically the entire offense right now. But my takeaway was like, I do think it's pretty prudent to be skeptical of every individual ADP relative to like what they've done and some of the players going around them. But if you do want to be in on the Chargers and the thesis is, or the reason these guys are all expensive is because of Mike McDaniel, then you better draft fucking multiple Chargers. I guess we didn't do that here, so let's take some of our own advice. But it is kind of like this thing of, if I'm right and I'm paying that Mike McDaniel tax, I want that tax to be spread out over multiple Chargers players.
Yeah. I think that's a smart way. I mean, I haven't done a good job of that, to be honest. Like, I think I'm pretty heavy Ladd. I'm like fading Hampton a little bit just because I like those other running backs like a little bit better. And then I've taken Herbert, but then I've been like, man, I don't know what to do with the tight ends really. I know what to do with the depth wide receivers. So maybe it's not through QJ. Maybe I need to like get more comfortable with like the Keaton Mitchell and Trey Harris type picks to spread out my exposure a little bit right now, because I'm playing it like very heavily through Ladd, and that's probably not like the right way to do it from like a picture standpoint.
Well, the other thing that's tough, right, is so like we take Ladd, and Herbert's ADP is, I believe I just checked. Yeah, it's 81.4. We pick at 84. There's a lot of situations where normally he would fall back to us at the 7-8 turn, and we could say, hey, do you want to stack up Ladd, shut it down at quarterback? But then you got these QJ drafters out of the one hole that say, no. We're taking both of these guys 10 picks ahead of ADP. So it's a tricky dynamic of like, if I go down the Chargers rabbit hole, I really want to go down it. But there's so many other people that are interested in those pieces as well.
I know. Yeah, I know. And that like a lot of these quarterbacks, like their ADPs are sometimes just a function of like how many pass catchers go ahead of them. Like looking at Burrow and Jaden Daniels here, for example, there's only one Commanders pass catcher that goes before Jaden, but there's two, T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, that go ahead of Burrow. As a result, I think that's like pulling Burrow's ADP up, even though like Jaden is better in a vacuum. And yeah, I expect the same thing with Herbert. Like as QJ rises, it's probably just gonna rip up Herbert with him as more people like are competing for that stack, basically. So yeah, it's a tricky like it's always tough. I feel like the Bears and Chargers are maybe the two teams that are a little bit like this, where it's like we're betting on betting on a big leap, and it's like, can these guys at their elevated prices pay off this like projection we have for them?
Yep. Yeah. So there you have it. 2583 for Sam and I in the books there. I do like that we went down the Josh Allen path. It was kind of I thought we were going to get Kincaid there. He's a guy that I haven't been targeting a ton isolated, and I was like, man, Kincaid as our first tight end on an Allen team would have felt good there.
I know that was a bummer. He got sniped one pick before, and Shakir too. Like a lot of times when I take the Allen pick, you kind of have the choice of Shakir and Kincaid, because teams who don't have Allen like don't often love taking those guys. But we got exposure to the DJ Moore thing, so we'll see how it shakes out. I think I was talking with Pat about it on That's Fair stream, and it's like the case for DJ Moore is that like you have to believe that like he kind of wasn't trying last year, and like suddenly he's gonna try again this year or something like that, which is like not a case you usually want to make for a 5th or 6th round pick. But they gave up a ton for him. Like we could, as a fantasy community, we could just be way off. It could be like all the people who are watching the tape from last year in Chicago. It's like, oh, it was really Caleb Williams overthrowing him on a bunch of stuff, and it wasn't completely DJ Moore's fault. I mean, that has to be what the Bills are believing, given what they gave up for him. So, we'll see on the DJ Moore stuff. I'm honestly not that optimistic, but I think it made sense on this team.
Yep. All right, Sam, you mentioned That's Fair. I assume you're back with Pat for that this week.
Yes. back with Pat for that. And I'm actually headed out to San Diego this weekend, coincidentally. So, yeah,
IRL, that's fair.
That was my next thought. Pat and I haven't talked about that. That would be interesting. But yeah, I think Pat and I had plans to, if not doing a podcast live, plans to do something in San Diego. So, anyways, yeah, doing that Thursday, and then I'll be back next Monday. That's all I got, Pete.
Wait, didn't you guys once play pickleball in Brooklyn together? Are you going to bring that back?
I mean, how old is his daughter now? Is she able to play pickleball? I think we might need a. We're
workshopping your guys' play date this week, Pat.
Pickleball, yeah, pickleball. I've been playing a lot of tennis recently.
Oh, I could play some tennis.
Okay, well, we just sorted that out.
There we go. What are we putting on it? Like a couple big dog.
Couple mil?
Sure. Yeah, a couple mil. Yeah.
Wait, but no, you got to ask more questions, Sam. Pat says I've been playing tennis. There was a way you said that. Have you been taking tennis lessons as well, or are you just whacking the balls around out there?
It's like clinics. It's like you show up. There's It's not so much like instruction, but there's a little. I've been getting better. I'll start playing in September.
Is there a man behind you kind of holding your hips, kind of helping
no
you?
one holds my hips. No one holds my hips.
Did we not talk about the Josh Allen golf swing with the
I saw that.
Did you guys see that?
No, I didn't see this.
You didn't see this, Pat? Oh my God, I gotta pull this up. Start describing it for him, Sam, as I
yeah. So Josh Allen is getting like a golf lesson, and I think there's two different guys like touching him as he swings. One guy's like grabbing his butt. Yeah.
He held his head.
This
is nuts. This is nuts.
There were lots of Liam Murphy jokes about this individual here.
As someone who's like a very mediocre golfer, I saw this and I was like, this would fix my golf game. I just need two dudes holding on to me, and I think that's all I need. Yeah.
Two dudes holding on to me.
Dude, posting that on like a Craigslist wanted ad, looking for two dudes forming a human centipede with me whenever I draft.
This is crazy, man. Is this how he fixed his football mechanics? I mean, he had huge improvements, like from Wyoming to year 2 or 3 in the Bills. It was massive.
Yeah.
I just can't stop watching the guy on his knees. It's just like the full follow through, adjusting the head. It's so good. All right, so there you go.
I got to jump, guys, but yeah, Pat, if you want to do some tennis lessons,
some tennis, sounds good.
Yeah. Can't promise the amount of intimate contact that was shown there, but we'll see how it goes.
Can you help me fix my swing?
Yeah.
Oh my God. So good. All right, Sam. There goes Sam Sherman. Make sure you guys follow him on Twitter. Check him out on That's Fair. Pat, how was your 4th of July weekend?
4th of July weekend was good. Had some brisket. A little hang at the house. It was good. How about you?
Very, very nice. It was good. We did a little on the Cape and then visited our friends on Martha's Vineyard. I actually thought of you because normally we visit them a little later in the summer. We did the 4th this year. And whenever I'm there, I remember doing the mini-sodes from the vineyard.
Yeah.
We were at the beach and I like had to run and call you from the van for the pick. And we were on the clock for some mini-sode picks over the weekend. So I guess
we were.
Circle. All right, everybody's right. Completely dropped the ball here. We will play the intro and then Pat will vamp while I go to the bathroom when this intro. Scuba Kerrane, Patty Millions, Peacock Pat Kerrane on the 1s and 2s.
Are you kidding me? Kadarius Toney?
98 yards to the fucking house against Carolina in week 10.
So Pete didn't get us in a draft or anything. I was assuming maybe we'd have like a draft to talk about. Any questions? Throw some questions in the chat. We'll hang out here for a second while Pete's going to the bathroom. Did I cook the brisket? No, my buddy Chris did. He did, like an overnight smoke. It was quite good. We got recommendations for Pete for a pizza place. Take a look at that, Pete. DC Porcelli's.
Wait, why do I need a pizza place recommendation? Also, I did hop us in a draft. We are going to draft from the 108 here.
Oh, well, that's news to me.
I got all kinds of news for people here. No, I think this is what's happening. I had the touts do the bash for me last week, and I'm starting to just really warm up to this idea of everybody doing my work for me. So I might just start having you solo stream during Best Ball Breakfast while I'm, take care of some errands.
Yeah, I do a lot of that. It's on the Leg Up channel, though.
There you go. Yeah, this is the most solo streaming you've done before, right?
It is. Yeah. I did a little last year, but yeah, I've been doing more solo stream every week. Well, Shady hops on sometimes, but most weeks.
All right, here we go, Pat. We got the sidekick up. We got the 1-8 here. Chalky start. Anything new you've been doing in this range of the draft here, or you play it pretty straight by ADP?
I play this one pretty straight. I like Jefferson like a little bit more than ADP, but I don't really take him over Amon-Ra. I'll kind of mix him up over CD. But yeah, I think St. Brown's good. Yeah.
Where for me, and it's just like a mental thing, probably a block where I do much prefer Amon-Ra to Jefferson. Tell me why I should be more open to Jefferson.
I mean, Jefferson's arguably the best receiver in football and has had to deal with just abysmal quarterback play last year, and then dealt with some not great quarterback play the year before too, with Cousins' injury. So Murray doesn't have to be great, to be a huge improvement in quarterback play. And then compared to CD, sometimes I think about like the Pickens, target competition and stuff, where Jefferson, I think, can just dominate targets a little more easily. Addison's good. Juwan Jennings can play. TJ Hockenson can catch passes, but this offense could also just be about Justin Jefferson again once quarterback is back to like a level of competence,
Yeah. Yeah, I think the Pickens thing is certainly a conversation with Lamb. Amon-Ra, I do just feel really good about his role in this off. There's just like no questions with Amon-Ra at all. All right, we're back on the clock here. Sidekick likes Achane, Drake London, Bowers. Who do you want to go with here?
I'm fine with Achane for sure. The guy I would pull up is probably Bowers if we wanted to get weird, but happy to do Achane.
We can do Achane here, and we'll ease into the getting weird this best ball season. I feel like the topic around Achane is always the same. It's like, oh yeah, we all like Achane, but I'm terrified this Dolphins offense is going to be atrocious. When you do click Achane, what other kind of if-then statements do you think about for the rest of your draft of like, okay, I now live in this reality where the Dolphins are competent, or do you see scenarios where Achane could crush even in a really dysfunctional environment?
Yeah, I don't think it necessarily the bet is that it's Achane and he's really good and he catches passes and they don't have any receivers. And so I think Achane can get there even with the offense not being awesome. Like if they just run enough of it through him, he can be fine. The other thing with Achane that makes it a little trickier to play, okay, now I'm betting on the Dolphins as we currently know them, is that I kind of don't mind if Malik Willis gets benched. Like if they go to Quinn Ewers at the end of the season,
okay,
and you're just peppering Achane with targets, I think there's a sweet spot where they don't bench him, Achane, to keep him healthy at the end of the year, but they have moved on from Willis and maybe Ewers is playing okay, and they're kind of yeah, we're frisky, we're not going to just shut down the season. I think that's probably better for him than if Malik Willis is just, running the ball all the time, right? And
yeah.
So
it's
just a lot of different ways he can get there. It's not like a clear-cut scenario of here's how I envision it.
Yeah. I guess then the one downside to that scenario would be it would probably get pretty bad right before that switch was made.
Sure.
And maybe
Sure.
that 3 to 4 week stretch could be a bottoming out, and then you see a little bit of a resurgence.
Yeah, I think of Achane. Achane's a little Henry-esque from last year where, you know, I have some questions about him in this range, but he could absolutely nuke at any point as well. And he could nuke as like a low advance rate player. So, you know, he could also be a really good pick because he's a 3-down running back with like no real pass catchers to compete with. He could just get a ton of targets. So he's just kind of a volatile type of dude.
Kerrane, Davante, T. Higgins, Jacobs, Tetairoa, the kick suggestions. You got a favorite here?
I do take Javonte when I have him at the top here.
Yeah.
And then I know I'm going to get I mean, you could get Jacobs back, which
Right.
I'm comfortable with too. But you usually get a receiver back here. Flowers is gone, Rice is gone. Those are the two guys that I'm like really excited about in the third.
What do you think
a
about
receiver?
this Flowers rise? Because man, he's gone from.
I think it
somebody
makes
to be able to
sense.
get- yeah.
Yeah.
Where's the tipping point for you on where the Flowers price gets too frothy?
I mean, I think like I like Rice more than him, so that makes it a little harder. But like in this draft, I mean, but like if you told me that Rice went where Hall went and then Flowers went the very next pick, I wouldn't have any issues with that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I saw, it might have been my first draft. Someone pulled Zay all the way up to, it was either 25 or 26. It was pretty high up there, which I think you can start to, if you do think it's kind of flat, you know, after a Pickens comes off the board, you're mixing up your combos, right? Because otherwise you're not going to have Flowers with a Gibbs or with a Bijan team, or is that still too much?
I think it's flat enough to where if that's something you're doing, I would get that. You're like, yeah, let me throw some Gibbs in with Flowers. I still only have one Gibbs BBM team, and I'm slowly just becoming convinced I will only ever
You
have
have one Gibbs BBM.
one Gibbs BBM.
Whoa.
Yeah.
We're on the clock here. Tetairoa, Igbuka,
Tetairoa, man.
Wada.
Yeah.
How
Do you
many
want
have you
that?
done?
I've done like 54.
Okay. All right. So
Yeah.
you are way below expectation.
Way below expectation, yeah. I had one last night that was 102, and I was like, come on, take Bijan. Just let me have a Gibbs team.
How many 102s do you have? How much Bijan?
Not a ton, actually. I think that might have only been my second or third Bijan.
Well, you know, I realized what's happening because Levitan was on a couple hours ago and literally said, I just keep getting 101s and 102s all over again. I think the influencer algo is a little broken and he's getting all the points.
Levitan's the influencer now. Interesting.
That's right.
All right, I'll message Levitan, see if we can get this sorted out.
Yeah, tell him to chill out. Man, that is I assume you're getting enough volume in elsewhere that your portfolio
Yeah, I got a 101 big dog the other night. That made me happy.
Yeah, what is that? That makes up for 20 shares worth there. It's not bad.
Yeah.
All right, we start Amon-Ra, come back, grab Achane and Javonte, Tetairoa in the
And like I know that Javante's not the most fun click in the 308. I get it. But like one of the guys that we might have taken instead is literally Tetairoa McMillian. So,
right.
You know, it's not the worst thing.
Yeah, I think Higgins was the next highest, and I've definitely I'm too light on Higgins. Again, not necessarily by design, but I was at like 3% Higgins, and I'm like, I need more Higgins too.
Yeah, I'm okay. I think I'm at like maybe 6% Higgins, something like that. Let me see. Higgins, I'm at 11%. I've decent amount of Higgins. Yeah. McMillian, I'm at 10%. He's someone I like when I think through the Panthers. Like Bryce Young's not very good, so you have issues with that. But McMillian might be like the next superstar at wide receiver. I mean, this dude's really good. And I think he kind of. I was listening to Alec Connolly's breakdown on him, the film, kind of a film take on it, and it's like They were using him not particularly creatively. He's like the X with Canales' X gets a lot of work usually.
Yeah.
But like there's a lot of meat on the bone as far as what they could do, kind of making his life easier while also he's good enough to basically he did all the hard stuff last year as a rookie really well. So it's like, what if they layer on some of the easy stuff and they still have him at doing the hard stuff? Adams falling here is pretty sweet.
Adams is a great pick for us. Yeah, keep going though. We grabbed Adams.
Yeah, so it's like the potential for him to emerge as, you know, a true target dominant number one is really there because he can do all the things that, you know, they kind of need him to do to open up the offense. But then he, you know, maybe they also just build it more around him. Maybe they don't, you know, because they have Coker and they got Brazel and stuff. They have other guys they can do creative things with. But it's like one of those things where you can see the upside. The upside is pretty clean. It's like, hey, they just build the plane out of their best player. But you do have, it's also like frustrating because if they don't do that, it's hard to see it naturally happening by like Bryce Young just like has this breakout season and he gets carried along actually by the quarterback breakout. Like that's not really a realistic possibility.
Yeah, and I feel like Tetairoa, I mean, we've been spoiled with some of these wide receiver breakouts. Actually, let's get back to this here. Sidekick likes Pollard, Jaden Daniels, Tyson, Chuba. Where do you think we go here?
Pollard has been getting pulled up for me recently, which I find kind of intriguing. I'm fine with any of the top three.
All right, we'll top click it here with Pollard. Yeah, pulled up, 8 spots there. So we have Achane, Javonte, Pollard, Amon-Ra, Tetairoa, Adams. Back to the Adams thing, man. Like Adams falling to pick 56. ETR has him like 20 spots higher than that. It was the top sidekick suggestion. I mean, at these prices, Davante Adams, middle of the 5th round. That seems like the smash of all smashes.
Yeah, and I think he's a better in best ball pick because he's going to be touchdown dependent.
Yes.
So, yeah, I mean, we had the chance to take him in the main event, and we actually went another way at a similar price. But I think for best ball, like he has the potential to score a bunch of touchdowns again, and those all basically are going to hit your lineup when they happen because he'll probably have a decent enough score once you add the touchdown to be useful every single time. So. Yeah, I mean he's a pretty solid pick here.
Yeah,
like, I feel pretty good about it.
It's funny you mentioned the better in best ball thing too, because the other thing I remember about Adams, I did a bunch of the dailies on Underdog last year, and Adams was always like between pick 9 or 10 to pick 15 or 16. And he either like sunk you because he didn't catch 2 touchdowns, or he was in the winning lineup because he had 2 touchdown upside on a site that heavily rewards touchdowns. And he basically supercharged an RB start as your wide receiver 1 or whatever. And it's like, to get that dynamic again this year at these prices after kind of seeing the thesis already play out is pretty nice.
Yeah, 100%. And I think he's discounted in part because you had, some of the concerns that the Rams might be moving on. They flirted with AJ Brown and stuff. And that tells you something. He probably won't be on the team next year, would be my guess. But Cooper Kupp was also pretty productive until he left too,
Yeah.
I think Metcalf here is good. I think Reed would also make sense, but Metcalf goes quite a bit earlier. So,
yeah, we'll grab Metcalf here. ADP of 76. We get him at 80. Metcalf is one of those guys where I feel like I keep getting him a lot. I think it's a smart, well, thought out pick as far as like the projection and what he's going to get. And then every time I click him, it's like
he's the same way for me. I don't like clicking him, but it's like I've reviewed the Metcalf stuff we have like a pretty good amount because I'm like, really? Are you sure Metcalf?
Yeah.
But like, I think he makes sense. He's the receiver that kind of jumps out there in that range as being like, okay, you need a receiver. This dude plays receiver.
We're back up. Corum paired with Davante looks nice here. Give us that fourth running back.
Yep.
So we'll grab Corum. We now have a 4 running back, 4 wide receiver build. Achane, Javonte, Pollard, Corum, Amon-Ra, Tetairoa, Adams, Metcalf. It did seem – so we also had Rico on the board. Obviously, we had wide receivers on both the Rams and Pittsburgh. Any thoughts on a choice there between Rico and Corum?
They're similar bets. I think Rico – I don't know. I mean, the thing is, like, Corum has a lot more upside when you think about, like, what the best case scenario is.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you think?
Yes. Oh, for sure. Well, just because the offensive output, I mean, how many more projected points is that offense?
Right.
Yeah.
And then Rico, I think, has a little bit of an easier path to being something. Where, like, he can pass Warren, he can be the 1A and Warren's the 1B without, like, too much fuss. Where Corum, like, that can happen for sure, but, like, Kerrane is more entrenched. They really trust Kerrane there. So I think Dowdle probably works better on builds where you, like, need the production. Where with, like, Achane, Javonte, Pollard, I like Corum better. I think Corum fits the team better. Like, he could potentially be, like, a true home run in a way that it's harder to see Dowdle being. I mean, Dowdle certainly had his moments last year, but, just from the contingent value alone, like, Corum has got a higher ceiling.
Look, Pete about to end up with some naked Mahomes. Open your eye.
Long gone.
Mahomes is long gone. He went to the worthy drafter there.
Well, this is partly why we had so much naked Mahomes, Pete, is that, like, people are like, oh, you're going to get naked Mahomes in the 9th. I'm like, he went at the 801. Like, but if he was here, we should take him.
Yes, exactly. All right. We are about to pick at 9-8. Sidekick liking the quarterbacks here. It is interesting. Laporta is the ADP faller. It's like, do you take Laporta and see if you can get the double with Goff, or do you just lock up the Goff now?
The way the Sims are here, I would say it's Goff. Like, Murray's second, Nix is fourth. Like, we know quarterback dries up pretty quickly after this. We don't have a quarterback. We have Amon-Ra as the premium single stack. It's nice to get Laporta, but it's like, how does the team get bad real quick? It's if we get locked out at quarterback.
Yeah. No, it's a good point. I mean, I had a draft. I don't know. It was my second draft with Levitan where I got completely shut out because I kept breaking ties away from that. And I generally learned my lesson in those spots, but not here. I guess, like, you look behind you and you're like, okay, Prescott and Lawrence, May, Herbert, an Allen team, no Detroit pieces. Could you do it?
Yeah.
Maybe that's a slow draft spot too, where you really look at the board, you pull it up, and when you have more time, you can make that kind of soft read.
The thing, well, we'll see, because Nix and Murray went. But what I was thinking is that, which means Goff probably would have gone. But there's a good chance that had Murray or Nix made it back, that it would be quarterback in the spot.
Wilson, a huge ADP follower, but Sims like Kelsey tight end. Thoughts?
I'm good with Kelsey. I'm good with pulling up Concepcion if we want to go the other receiver.
Let's grab Kelsey. Why are you guys just really bearish on Wilson, even here at pick 114?
We are fairly bearish on Wilson. There's been some stuff of, like, he's, someone had him as the number one there. Like, a beat was talking through him as the number one. And I listened to Greg Rosenthal break down the receivers with Nate Tice, and they both had Wilson ranked above Marvin Harrison. So
yeah,
it's one we'll maybe review. But I mean, the issue that I have with Wilson is as soon as Harrison was back, it was back to kind of the status quo of Marvin Harrison as the number one. And I think when you look at that offense, you're really fighting for the number two, right behind McBride.
Yeah.
And then I still have belief in Harrison, given just how insanely good of a prospect he was. It's hard for me to believe that he can't carve out the number two target on an offense. Maybe he can't. They did talk positively about Michael Wilson as in a Puka role, but then they mentioned his blocking is the reason that they were talking about that. So yeah, it's an offense that I don't really want to be invested in, and he's probably the number three target in it. And that's where it's I think I'd rather give me Concepcion, man. He might be the number one target on his team ultimately, especially down the stretch. So, I mean, I like Fannin, but Fannon's not Trey McBride yet. We don't, he hasn't hit that. He could be, but probably won't be,
Yeah, no, I agree with everything you said. The value hound in me as we're rocking the tank today, I'm like, man, I have not seen Michael Wilson at 114, 113. That might be the price to get your Michael Wilson shares.
Yeah, then that's fair. That's totally fair.
That's fair me.
No, non-derogatory. That's fair.
Jacob in our group chat for the main event, I was talking about Travis Hunter, and he hit me with a respectfully and that pissed me. That's even worse than a that's fair. The respectfully. Oh, that got me going. All right, we're about to be back on the clock here. Ferguson, Kincaid, Shough, Stroud. What do you want to do here?
I like Ferguson with the Cowboys thing we did.
Yeah.
Let's
do it
with it.
We'll get Kelsey and Ferguson here. Speaking of which, guys, we're actually on the clock. We need to make a defensive selection there. Now that I just thought of it, Davis tossed out a few. But if you guys have missed it, we do have the mini-sode series going over on the Ship Chasing channel, wrapping up our first main event. And also, I believe this is the first I've mentioned it anywhere. We are scheduled to do a main event draft a week from this Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern. We're going to live stream it. Generally, main event drafts are at night. We asked the crew over there, hey, can we put one up at 2 p.m. During our typical show time? So if you guys want to draft against us in a main event and have it streamed next Wednesday, that's a week from this Wednesday, 2 p.m. Eastern. It's up in the lobby. It even says Ship Chasing, so you'll know you're getting in the right one there. But that's going to be a lot of fun, Pat, to get a July live stream main event.
Yeah, and I just dropped main event rankings on Leg Up. So if people are in the main event streets, got you covered there. Those went live on Saturday.
We are on the clock here. Shough is falling. Stroud, Darnold. Do you have a favorite of these quarterbacks?
This is a spot where if you wanted to get Shough over, the unstacked Stroud, I'd be fine with it. It's pretty clear what's happening here, right? We need a quarterback. So this is you could maybe even get Stroud. Well, no, I guess we're later than I realized. Shough was a huge faller. That's interesting.
But dude, Pat, I don't know if you've noticed this. And again, I am just becoming a best ball bro. People wanted me to let you know that I have confessed. I entered the slow draft streets as of this morning.
Wow.
15 eliminators, 15 weekly winners. We plotted it all out. We're headed to Maxtown here very soon, and the train has left the station. But the one thing I was going to say, some weird things have been happening in these drafts this morning. Running backs are getting pushed down. In this room, it didn't happen. Montgomery went 42, but this entire cohort had been pushed down. I got Chuba, Ramondre, all these guys, 10, 12 picks past ADP.
Wow.
And some of these quarterbacks have really been falling. This is the second draft in a row, Shough. And so I don't know what's going on, if there's something actually changing, but these rooms have felt different to me today.
That is interesting. I mean, it's going to change, right? The different people will be drafting in August than now. We'll probably also be drafting, but it won't just be us.
It's kind of like how Travis Hunter is going to also be playing defense this year, but he's still going to be playing offense as well.
I mean, that is true. That is true. People don't believe it, but he really will play both.
Yeah, Huhaim's been streaming drafts in a bunch of drafts. His rooms felt different all day yesterday too. So maybe there has been the new post July 4th influx. People are finally joining us.
It's July. I mean, fantasy football season. I just got the notification. I got my Scott Fishbowl draft is kicking off. That's traditionally, we're talking 2018, 2019. That was when fantasy football season started.
Yeah.
That was redraft season start. Oh, Scott Fish, it's still early, but like I'm doing my first draft. I can't believe it's not even August yet, and I'm already drafting. You know what I mean? So it's still early. Like that's the weird thing about doing this.
Would you say we're still in the locker room slapping asses? Haven't even gotten to the first inning yet.
We're gonna be there for another 3 weeks, dude. Rookies don't report until late July. I guess it's maybe another 2 weeks now. But yeah.
Damn. I was hoping Bryce Young would come back there. We do have Cam Ward, Jawan Johnson, Deebo, Denzel, Boston.
I'm taking a lot of Deebo, man.
All right.
He's gonna sign.
I have no problem with that. I was just again trying to think of like the ADP thing. Cam Ward had slid. If we wanted the third quarterback, that was probably the spot to get it. But yeah, I'm fine with Deebo.
Ward's all right. I take some Ward. You know, I take Ward when I need a quarterback. Pretty bad. And he's stacked. Which he isn't quite stacked here. We've got Pollard. I mean, got nothing, but it's not like it's Tate, you know.
The run out that was poor for us is the drafter in front of us needed a QB and decided naked Bryce Young over naked Cam Ward, despite the lower ADP. So I was hoping he would go Ward, and then we would have gotten Bryce stacked up with Tetairoa, and it would have been fine.
I agree. Juwan Johnson is actually the guy we were thinking stacking. That was kind of who was on my mind more so than Ward.
So now at 14-5, and I'll do a quick recap of the team after this pick. Sidekick likes Boston. We could also grab Hunter Henry as well as our third tight end, but Boston.
I like Boston.
Yeah.
I mean, Boston was I think number 2 on the sidekick the last time around, and was I think a pretty good pick in the 13th for this team.
So we have a 2-4-6-2, Goff and Shough at quarterback, Achane, Javante, Pollard, Corum at running back, Amon-Ra, Tetairoa, Davante, DK Metcalf, Deebo, Denzel, Boston at wide receiver, and then Kelsey and Ferguson at tight end there. So in decent shape at all of the positions. Talk about Deebo. Is it new enthusiasm? Is it just business as usual? Is it the Ayuk stuff, opening up another path for a free agent wide receiver? Like where is that coming from?
We have not basically, I would say it's business as usual for us as far as, what we expect for Deebo Samuel. Like I haven't gotten any more bullish on Deebo Samuel, but there's sort of a thing where because there's uncertainty, he isn't on an NFL team. You're sort of like, and time is progressing forward and he's still not on an NFL team. Like, I think it feels like kind of like we're holding the line a little bit, even though like haven't changed anything about him in the Sims. But yeah, I mean, I check in, see what's going on, see what he's posting about. He didn't call out Jaden Daniels this weekend, which was good,
That's progress. Yeah.
He didn't fire his agent. I mean, it seems like he's still on track to sign somewhere, and it's probably better that Ayuk isn't in the mix, although he seemed so kind of tied to the Commanders that I don't think Deebo is going back to the Commanders, but maybe Diggs goes to the Commanders now, and that opens up, wherever, Diggs might have been competing with Deebo somewhere else, and now Deebo goes there. I don't know, but I think fundamentally, like, Deebo's going to play football this year for someone and probably have, kind of the number 2, number 3 wide receiver role, depending where he ends up.
Yeah.
Rodgers going there is a bummer.
I know. I was looking at that too with Metcalf. Twice now, potential stacks at good prices get taken from us at the last second here. Let's see if the kick still likes Geno or if it flips here. Still likes Geno. You want to grab Geno here?
We could grab Geno. We could also try and push Geno and grab Bernard because we did see a bunch of quarterbacks go in the last turn. It's 2, 2, and 3. I'm just been burned in that
taken Jeremy Bernard a ton today, and I've gotten boxed out at quarterbacks, and I don't trust any of these assholes anymore to pass on these quarterbacks. So let's go, Gino.
All right.
Big Sploosh, a new YouTube member. Great name, Big Sploosh. Welcome. You can join us for the bash on Thursday at noon Eastern. Also, I should mention I'm going to have a special edition of Best Ball Breakfast on Wednesday at 10 a.m. Eastern. I'll let you guys know the lineup for that probably later tonight or tomorrow, but you can plan on that 10 a.m. Eastern. We got to figure out what we're doing for ship chasing on Wednesday. Pat's going to have ADP chasing tomorrow night. I think we have to make, even though we just pulled it up, I feel like you guys have to do a review of the Josh Allen golf swing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's what ADP chasing was built for. I'm glad that we got to do it with Sam.
Yes.
Because it feels like he needs to also be involved, but we did get his thoughts, which is really, really important.
Freiermuth, Wicks, Kamara. What do you want?
Freiermuth seems pretty good here. We have the Steelers thing. What's the bring back? Who'd the bring back one?
Tennessee.
Yeah. Okay, Pollard, nice.
So here's the squad through 16 rounds. Goff, Shough, Gino, Achane, Javante, Pollard, Corum, Amon-Ra, Tetairoa, Adams, Metcalf, Deebo, Denzel Boston, and now we got the 3 tight ends, Kelsey, Ferguson, and Freiermuth here. Do you have any current flavors of the week for your late round selection? A guy you've been getting more than recently, or more than normal, I should say?
I've been doing the Ravens receivers for a little while now. I like those guys a lot. Let me see the list, because I'm trying to think of guys I haven't been taking as much until recently.
Let's see.
Oh, some of the running backs. Marshawn Lloyd, I've started to mix in more.
Okay.
George Hilani a little bit more. You get Singleton sometimes in the last round, which is fun. Katron Allen I've been doing for a little while, but I think that one's definitely fun. I haven't taken much Jordan James yet, but I'd say I'm like close to where I would. Jaden Blue, I've taken a little of, but where did he go? Is he already gone? Yeah, he's long gone.
He went at 184.
Yeah. So that was
Kamara
for about 1 second I was taking Jaden Blue, because now people got too excited.
I mean, who could that have been? Yeah. Jaden Blue, that last week, Monday, was the Jaden Blue. I think we took him on 3 of 4 there. Man, BBG week feels like ages ago. Someone had asked in the chat your BBG experience. What was the review after the draft?
Well, I like this draft's better because I think you've actually bullied me on to the top click for the sidekick once or twice, and we just been cruising along here. But yeah, that one was getting bullied into random little side quests. It felt like, little.
Yeah, I mean, BBG week was the ultimate side quest, though. It's very fitting here. You want to grab Pat Bryant here?
Yeah, I like Pat Bryant. He seems like he's likely to be the number 3 there. That's an offense. Like I do want to be invested in, like he's. Yeah. And that's kind of what I'm like when you think about some of these guys. Like I know Michael Wilson had his run last year, and there's some upside there for sure. But like when you're like already down into the 3rd pass catcher on a team, and then you're like, I can get the 3rd pass catcher on the Broncos for free,
Yeah. I forget, was it last week? Someone was asking me about like Troy Franklin, and I was just like, I think it's over. Like if there's, if it's Sutton, it's Waddle, it's Pat Bryant. I can't even get myself to click Evan Ingram. Can't get myself to click Marvin Mims. I mean, if anyone hits outside of the top 2, it's going to be Bryant.
I agree. Yeah, I think it'll be rotational. I mean, you're going to see little Jordan Humphrey play this year. Like I'm not like delusional here. I understand who Sean Payton is, but he's the guy that has some upside there to at least like establish, a pretty consistent role.
Yeah. All right, final click here, 18.5, 3473. I did just talk Sam into taking Holani in the draft before. I don't mind going that direction as our 5th running back. It also likes
good with
Malachi
that.
Fields. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good with that. Yeah, Fields has been popping up a little bit for me, and I think, you know, he's a solid enough click as well. But Holani is like, it's just like a little bit of different flavor where you get that early season running back production, most likely.
Yeah. Yeah, and it makes sense. And the sidekick after we take Kalani there, it liked both Fields and Mooney. So that was some week 17 correlation there. I envision why they were kind of percolating over some of the other options.
Yeah, we have that the Dallas Giants thing. So it's like, hey, you got the Dallas pieces, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I honestly, like, of all the rookie wide receivers that kind of go back here, the Hursts and the Brazzles and even the Branches, I have not refresh my memory even on who Malachi Fields is as a player. What kind of profile are we expecting from him?
He's sort of like, I mean, he's a little Jacoby Lane-esque in that he isn't a great separator, but probably is kind of more of a downfield guy. And then there was some hype around the Senior Bowl on Fields of like, hey, this dude's actually got a little bit more overall, you know, his game is a little bit more well-rounded than we saw on tape at Notre Dame. But that kind of died away fairly quickly, and he looks like he's going to be an outside receiver. Separation might be an issue, but he has the potential to earn targets, you know, 10 plus yards downfield if he's a little bit better than basically he was in college. Like in college, he might have been pigeonholed a little bit is kind of the idea. So I'm not a huge Fields guy, but he's certainly like, he has enough draft capital where he's in the mix as like a final round dart throw. And I think he was popping here, like we were saying, because of the week 17 correlation as much as, I mean, the position, right? We had receiver, as soon as we took Kalani, receiver was like top 2, 3 of the top 4 type of thing. So it's like, hey, you could use the rookie wide receiver firepower. Dude was a 3rd round pick. There's a little upside to that at the end of the season, and he's a bring back for your double Dallas thing.
All right, let's see how this team turned out. 3-5-7-3, Goff, Shough, and Geno Smith at quarterback, Achane, Davante, Pollard, Corum, and we did tack on Holani, second Holani share of the day at running back. Solid wide receiver room, Amon-Ra, Tetairoa, Davante Adams, DK Metcalf, Deebo Samuel, Denzel Boston, Pat Bryant, 3 tight ends, Kelsey, Ferguson, Frymouth. Do you know what I realized this team is at wide receiver? This was a grown-ass man team. Tetairoa, Adams, Metcalf, Deebo, some of the old school poster boys of GAMs at the wide receiver position.
Yeah, man. Amon-Ra has a little game to him as well. He's a smaller guy, but he's, you know, he's a talker a little bit. He remembered all the receivers drafted ahead of him. I mean, he's definitely,
that's true.
You know,
GAM at heart.
Yeah, he's undersized, but he's kind of a hard ass. Speaks German, you know.
What any other thoughts on this team? I think it shook out pretty well there. Obviously, like naked Geno isn't the funnest thing in the world, but I think that 3rd quarterback with just Goff and Shough probably made sense. And we got sniped on the Bryce Young and the Rodgers that I think would have really made
Bryce Young and Rodgers would have been the better backdoor stack guys, and we got sniped. Shough would have been a little bit more fun, I think, if we got DeVon Achane to come back. He didn't, so we ended up building around some teams without the quarterback. We got 2 Rams, we got 2 Steelers, we got 2 Cowboys. We don't have, you know, those quarterbacks stacked up, but we do have Goff to Amon-Ra, which, as far as like, do we have enough in week 17? That's something, you know, like that single stack might be kind of what you need. Yeah. So we might be, you know, good enough there with that. And then we did make some bets on some offenses, you know. It's not like the most overly correlated team, but it's like I said, we have a couple and pretty good bets, right? Dallas, Rams, Steelers a little thinner, but you know, not nuts.
Yep. Yeah, I like how this one, I think it was some of those, you know, spots where I do wonder, like, could we have done the Laporta and push Goff around? Some of those where you could have maybe gotten some of the correlations to work if you played the room a bit. But as I've learned,
can you pull up that part of it?
Yeah,
because I think we just get shut out at quarterback.
So if we go Laporta, Murray. Yeah, but I don't see. I think these guys still take Nix and Murray over an unstacked Goff is kind of my thought.
You might be right. So this guy was unstacked Murray, right?
Yes, unstacked Murray.
This guy was stacked Nix with Sutton
and Nix. Yeah,
I think the guy who took Murray is probably who we have to worry about there.
Yeah,
he might have just gone unstacked Murray still. I mean, if you're taking one unstacked, Murray is a little more comfy because he runs, and because Goff's not very backstackable.
Right. It's Tesla or bust. I mean,
right.
That's not fun.
I mean, he has Mahomes to Worthy, so it might he might be doing what we did with Shough, which is like, hey, we need quarterback points, and we already have a stack here, so we'll be fine.
Yeah. It's funny because some of this build looks kind of like a sidekick build, but then you see Parker Washington here at 6. It's not a sidekick build.
It might be. I mean, this could be someone using a sidekick who just believes in Parker Washington, right? Because it's
you just IKB the player take.
You just IKB the player take.
Yeah.
And then you get the Mahomes Worthy, Kyler Murray. We do see a little Coker. That one could be an IKB. But I mean, this going to does he add another running back or does he stay?
He stays.
He stays. So that's,
and he does grab Hunter too. So then he
grabs
back.
Hunter. This might be a Parker Washington pilled sidekick user.
Which those type of people exist. I'm sure.
Yeah, man.
I'm sure. Also, Nathan brings up a point too we could discuss in retrospect. I mean, we took the shock fall at 137. We did have Achane, so Willis at that price too. If we were looking for more correlation, could have been a play.
That's true. Like I said, I mean, you asked me at the top, what does this mean about Miami? And it's I don't think it means much. It doesn't necessarily mean we're betting on Willis. I would, if I have Achane, I want all possibilities to be, something that I'm open to. Because this team is going to struggle, and they might struggle enough to bench Malik Willis, which might actually be fine for Achane.
That's the
I'm not.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just Achane. If I'm taking Achane in the second in this situation, to me, what I'm saying is this dude is a baller. He catches the ball. He can rip off long runs. He's this tiny running back, but yet he's a super traditional guy that can do everything they ask him to do. And they're going to build the offense around him. And the offense that he gets in week 1 might not be the same offense he gets in week 17, but it doesn't matter because he's a superstar. So getting overly tied to I don't know. Malik Willis is a dangerous click in best ball. I think he's got some appeal, but it's more honestly, where I think Malik Willis would have made more sense is if we took Laporta, got sniped on Goff.
Yeah.
And then our quarterback 1 ends up being someone we're not that excited. Maybe our quarterback 1's Willis, and we're we're going to Willis, who knows how long, but if he burns hot and bright for 12 weeks, great, because we really need those points now.
For sure. All right, Pat, another good one in the books there. You mentioned that's fair. You guys will have ADP chasing tomorrow night. Anything else people should keep an eye out for?
Hang on. I just want to, the team might be so bad that they bench the starting running back. Crazy bull case for a running back. I just want to, not necessarily the bull case that he gets benched.
It's a fallback case.
It's a fallback. It's additional, this is a chaotic situation. And my bull case is Achane is a baller, but I don't want to pick a sliver of the Miami outcomes and be it has to be these. You know what I mean? This team only works if it's this kind of Miami. Anyway, I'll be on with Greg Branos here in about 10 minutes for Legendary Coach Speak. We're going to be guessing. I'm going to be guessing some quotes that Greg has put together. So he's going to have some coach speak, ask me who this player, this is the quote, who is the player being discussed? I'll take my best guess, and then we'll discuss that player.
Nice.
Regardless of whether I'm right or wrong. So we'll see. We'll see. I'm probably going to get a little more coffee for this because, I gotta be sharp. But
there you go.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Appreciate everybody hanging out. Like I said, special edition of Best Ball Breakfast on Wednesday. Check out ADP Chasing. We'll have Ship Chasing Wednesday as well. And here in a little over 10 minutes, the debut of the most recent episode of So You Think You Can Tout. You guys saw them on the Bash last Thursday. That is a part of this episode. All kinds of fun stuff happening. And again, in true So You Think You Can Tout fashion, lots of surprises, some twists, some turns.
Who gets betrayed this week?
Who gets betrayed? Tune in to find out. The only thing that this show's missing from a reality show is I need, we don't get to ply the contestants with alcohol like so many other reality
alcohol
shows.
And also like there needs to be like some kind of love triangle. You got that would be, if you could figure that out.
These are the things that I have to crack. How do I introduce a love triangle angle with
I mean, that would be pretty classic reality TV.
It would be. Yeah, so if any of the contestants still in have ideas of how to make that work.
But Emo Cowboy has an idea.
There you go. All right. I will catch you guys soon on the channel. Thank you to everybody who hung out. Producer Mark, Levitan, Sam, and Pat into the chat. Great show today. We will see you guys next time on Best Ball Breakfast. Peace.